Welcome to the Daily Convo with your host, Big Body, Bro Body, and your boy, Bonnet T. This is a weekly podcast with just two dudes being bros. Just a couple bros being guys. If you haven't figured it out by now, just a couple guys being dudes. So let go.
Come on, bruh. Welcome, world, to the Daily Convo, a podcast that kind of happens like when we do it. It happens every week, though. So
yeah, but only when we decide to do it every week
on
Wednesdays.
And there's also periods where we're not going to do it, right? And so,
right.
And we want to welcome everyone to this. I am your host.
Oh, snap.
1/3 of the Dirtbag Boys.
Whoop, whoop.
Mr. Steal All Your Girls.
Mr. Steal Your Girls.
The Colossus. The man with the power. I'm too sweet to be sour. Woo! Your host, Nabil. Big Body. Rabadi. And with me today is a man who is the human equivalent to all of Jim Carrey's unfunny jokes. A man who looks like the most terrible taste and flavors you can get out of Baskin Robbins. With me today is the most tasteless, the most disgusting and deplorable human being imaginable. A man who does not even reach 5'7" on his dating profile. With me today is just Juan Thomas. Hey Juan, what's going
on? You know what? I don't know why I agreed to take this abuse from you every
talking about
every Wednesday at 8
hype game right there.
That wasn't hype at all. Yours was hype. I was ad-libbing to your success. I was fucking hyping
I
you
only
up and
got Colossus and Juggernaut and like all that dumb shit. You got
the summary of all of Jim Carrey's bad jokes.
Yeah. I mean
that's not a hype fuck, bro.
And conspicuous by her absence. A lady who we would like to send all our love to and well wishes. Our female correspondent, Jess, could not be here with us today as she is currently sick with an unspecified throat illness.
She's pregnant. You heard it here first. She's not pregnant.
I was going to say some serious shit. And then, listen, man, I used to like get sore throats all the time when I was a kid. And I take that shit so seriously now because like, a few years ago, I had an unchecked tonsillitis, and that shit was killer. Put me out of work for over a month. It sucks. So our hearts are with you, Jess. We love you. Get better soon. Let us know if you need anything, except Juan. You probably won't do it.
I'm absolutely going to give her something. You know what I'm going to give her?
And welcome to the podcast.
I got to finish what I'm going to give her. I am going to...
Okay.
Hold on, you bastard. I'm serious. See, this is why... God, I hate him.
You either give it to her or
show with you, dude. What I'm trying to say is our dear female correspondent is sick. And the only actual thing that's going to make her feel better is a custom tumbler from Carl Custom Creations.
Now, we are not medical experts, but that has cured dementia, foot acne, cancer, heart issues, depression, vomiting, nausea, diarrhea. Juan's beard miraculously grew because of that. It doesn't cover, though, for his stupidity. And so side effects are you have too much of an imagination, but you will love your Yeti.
that was a big drink. Carl Custom Creations, that's customs with a K. Link in our chat. You can go onto his Instagram, you can go onto his Facebook, and you can mention the Daily Convo, and you'll get a 10% discount on your order. No one in the game's doing that. No one in the game. No one.
And we're going to do this whole episode with a Pittsburgh accent. You get a 10% discount. That's what we're going to do today on the tumbler, on the Yeti collars.
He's from Pittsburgh.
I'm not from Pittsburgh. I just love their accent. Today is part number dos. It's 2 out of 3. What's 1? Okay, that's also 2. So before, either way, you were wrong before. It's part 2 of our relationship series. Today we talk about dating and relationships.
Dotting.
And well, you're going to hear it from 2 experts, men.
A couple of bros talking about dating and stuff.
I'll tell you one thing. We're pretty up there as far as how unsuccessful we are. And we feel like that is going to lend our opinion strongly.
Because, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Nabil. I don't know if you feel the same way that I do. I think when I think about dating and I think about who should I get my advice from, the first thing that comes to mind is mid-30-year-old single men who's, gets food in their beard and stuff, like who better, in my opinion.
Hey, come on, man.
Who better to do that?
Come on.
You know what's cool? I love this is like a bearded guy thing, right? Like if you ever say anything about something in a beard, the person with a beard will automatically think something's in their beard.
Yep.
Regardless, this is great.
Just like if you do this with your nose. And everyone's just like, oh shit, something's in my nose. And then realize like, oh no, I just want cocaine.
Same thing. Before we dive in.
No, before we dive into it.
No. Before we dive in.
Before we dive into this.
Hold on.
I want to insist.
Before we dive in.
Okay.
All right.
You first. You
Damn it.
go ahead.
We're in this paradox. We do this all the time. What'd you do this weekend?
Oh man, I was hoping I would get to answer this first. Man, I had an awesome weekend.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let me tell you something. Let me paint a picture. And I got to hang out.
Yep.
With my best friend's friends.
Oh, snap.
Who it was her birthday, Mary. It wasn't on a Saturday, it was on Sunday.
Mary O'Contrary.
And we all get to hang out and we had a great time. And it was just one of those crazy things that, we had an episode about friendship, and her really close friend, was being selfish and wanted to go to Miami and couldn't be there and didn't want to be there and just only thought about himself. It was an awesome weekend of him being selfish and a piece of crap, and really made me think twice about like it was his friends, and now they're my friends. Okay.
Oh yeah.
We're all getting married.
That's awesome, and that's the great thing about friendship.
Shut your mouth, okay? Shut it.
Wow.
Shut your. No. So we had. It was a great weekend. Got to watch some horror movies just because we're in the festivities. It was a fun time during Mary's birthday shenanigans. I will say there was a moment there where thank God for Adam and Mary, because Adam understood what I was going through, because we went to a bar called Dirty Bill's. And if
Dirty Bill and the boys.
If you know anything about Dirty Bill's, it is about as wide as this screen right here, with 700 people packed in there. And I'm a person who goes out and drinks, and who goes out and doesn't drink and still has fun and can keep a cool temperament and all that stuff. But this was the first time I think I felt anxiety, that I needed to leave. And when we did finally leave, it was great because Mary, who's the birthday girl, just kind of got where I was, and She was like, Nabil, I got you. She held my hand and she was like, let's go, and led the charge, holding my hand the entire time. She is my hero.
I just kind of wish I saw that like the image of little Mary trying to bogard through a group of people, holding your hand and dragging your big ass through this fucking group.
I don't think you like understood. Like, I couldn't like make any movement, but her being so tiny, people would shift a little bit and boom, that's enough of a wedge for me to go into. Versus me, I'm sorry, bro, I can't move. Bro. I'm like gonna shove people over. But it happened regardless. It was kind of fucking crazy anyway. But yeah, it just like it was not fun, but it was fun at the same time. It was a really good time. I'm glad I got invited. I'm sad I couldn't continue on. But yeah, it was a good weekend overall. Just got to relax, chill, watch horror movies, fun stuff. How about you, man? Did you go to Mary's?
Yeah,
birthday?
so no, so it was crazy. I wanted to go to Mary's birthday, but I was in Miami, having a ball.
And so, hold on a second. You knew and you planned this Miami trip way before you ever met Mary, right? Like, you had no idea.
No. Yeah, I already knew Mary well, way before I planned this Miami trip. Yeah.
You knew Mary.
Yep.
But you weren't friends with her.
Oh, no, I was best friends with her when I actually planned this. I actually planned this trip to Miami with a friend of mine, Jennifer Villarreal, who was on earlier.
You have to give her name out. That's private information. Go on.
I mean, you gave out Mary's name, so I can give out.
I didn't say her last name, did I? There's a million Marys out there.
There's a million Jennifer Villarreals. Those are actually two quite common names.
I've never heard of that last name before. That's very unique. Sorry.
But yes, no, went to Miami. Had an absolute blast.
The entire time.
I had some bomb Cubans out there. Did a little dancing. Did a little beach going. Do as the Cubans do. Have myself a nice little cigar. I mean, a couple good whiskeys. That
sweet bang.
That sweet bang. Yeah, man, it was a good time. It was really good. I had a blast. Got back early Monday morning and been grinding. Yeah.
I feel like today is like, it feels today for me is like the worst day to have a podcast, because it's like work, and I'm just like, I'm trying to find the energy. I mean, I'll be fine, but it's one of those. The grind is real, bro.
Yeah.
So I feel you on that one. I want to ask you a question, Juan. You are a man of high artistic integrity. You are widely regarded in the industry for your endeavors and how much you break things through, as far as the ceiling, and you're just paving the way. And
breaking it through. Ceiling?
Yeah,
breaking through the ceiling.
That's not
busting through it.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Right through it.
And so you would say that you have tried to popularize and make things like very accepted. Yeah. And so my question to you is, can you explain the philosophy behind you as a man sitting down and peeing?
Absolutely, man. I'm glad you brought that up. It's actually a topic I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. In today's society, right? And we can even reference what you mentioned earlier about the grind, right? We're busy, right? We as men really need to and this really, I'm going to stand on my soapbox on this one, because I think all men need to hear me out here and just kind of normalize some shit here.
Yeah.
So we are 24/7 going, making money, trying to provide for families, doing all this. Yeah. We go into the bathroom, we stand there, we hold our junk in our hand, and you do your business, right? I think we need to slow down. I think we need to find seconds in our day to just process and just kind of think things through. And I do a lot of my best thinking when I'm on the shitter. So I'm like, why don't I just take all these seconds and now start peeing sitting down? It's good for your back. You get a little break from the standing hustle, and all in all, you get a lot of your life figured out while you're sitting down on the pooper taking a pisser. So for me, it has changed my life, and I'm starting a club. I'm going to start the P Sitting Down Club. We're going to normalize this thing 2022. I'm expecting y'all's votes to put this in front of the House. That we just make this thing mandatory. I think we just all need to just chill out. Imagine how much cleaner bathrooms would be if we were sitting down pissing instead of standing up, just thing just flailing all over the place. So that's why your boy does it. Yeah.
How long does it take you to sit down and pee?
It's not about the time. It's not about how long it takes.
About life. It's kind of pretty quick.
I mean, listen, that's the problem. We do things so quick. Slow down. When you're important to be, all right, everyone who's watching the stream, this will be on the test. You're going to want to write this down. When you're important, the world will wait on you. They'll wait. So there's no need to be in a rush. Sit down, take a 10-minute pisser. Just enjoy time, enjoy life. There's so much you can discover in 10 minutes while you're just draining fluids, sitting on a can.
You could be draining fluids for 10 minutes.
You could if you tried. And you will never with that kind of attitude.
I feel like, honestly, that is deadly to your body.
Tomato, okay? Either way, the fluids are leaving the body. All right, and that's all we need. And I'm solving moral problems here. So
I regret asking this one bit. That was the greatest 2 minutes of my life. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Juanisms. Which I'm sure for you, that probably gives you a lot of time to think about our next subject.
A lot.
Dating. Which is weird that you think about dating while peeing. Man, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, I kind of want to segue into it easy, but like, we live in such an age.
Yep.
Where one is
Stone Age.
We live in, it might make dating easier if we live in the Stone Age.
Just hit them with a club. You're mine.
Why would you? No, you don't want them dead.
You're not going to kill them. You're not going to have them conscious. And you grab them by the foot and you put that foot, like the ankle part of the foot, heel, you grab the toe, and then you drag. And so you're going to you're in this motion and you're dragging them to your cave. And then when they wake up, you're like, oh my God, what happened?
That's the prehistoric ritual of arranged marriages.
Or deranged marriage.
So I guess we live in a crazy age, right? Yeah. A lot of our dating happens online, social media. I'm curious to know from you, right? Because dating is wild. What do you prefer? Are you one of those like, hey, I want to be a social media dater. I want to meet someone the good old fashioned way, just out in the wild, like at a bar? Do you feel like it's idealistic to meet someone who's like a friend starting out and then grows from there?
All right.
What do you prefer as like, here's how I think the idealistic way of dating is. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I feel they all play their part. I think the benefit of technology and where we are, like I'll be the first to be contradictive and shit all over a social media dating app and be the same guy who also is on Tinder and Bumble, right? Because I think it teaches, and we've talked about it before, I think it teaches bad habits. It's kind of,
what are those bad habits, real quick?
So like when you're thinking about like Tinder and Bumble, like it's appealing to the Vine TikTok world of very quick consumption of information, validated on to the next. And when you get into these like Tinders and in your Bumbles, right? Like you look at somebody's pictures, the first thing you're going to do, you're going to scroll through all the pictures, see if you like them from a physical standpoint, and then you'll progress into reading their bio, or maybe read the bio first. And like if the bio's catchy, cool, great, I got it. let's start talking. Or you could be one of those people like myself, if you don't even waste time putting in a bio, next. I don't even waste my time because you don't care enough. Why should I? But it accelerates this conversation to where I don't really give, like, you don't really get a legitimate chance to get to know this person. Because again, like if they're having an off day and they come in and start talking to you, or you ask a question and they're just like busy and they're giving you short responses, you're no longer engaged in this. You're like, hi, and you're on to the next one because you can easily swipe right and find another person to fill that person's void in a matter of seconds, right? So to me, I think that just kind of makes, to me, I almost see that more challenging to build something real from a social media dating app. However, in today's society, especially with COVID, but even before COVID, when you're a young adult and you're working all the time and you have that dumb notion of you can't date people you work with, which I have a whole nother soapbox conversation around that.
I'm gonna have to ask you about that.
Yes, make a note of that because I will love to come back to that.
It's gonna be the next question, I think.
Perfect.
Okay.
But like when you're in that kind of world where you're busy all the time, it does become a bit of a challenge to like find somebody and try to connect with somebody. So it makes these social media dating apps a little easier to find new people outside of your social world. So to answer the question, I think all facets of it, having social media dating apps, having a friend, throw your name in a hat to somebody else that they know, or the old school fashioned way you see a chick and like she banging, you go up to her and hold the conversation. I think all of those play a factor into its necessity in its own place,
Yeah, this is where I wish Jess was here because I would love to ask her, like, does she respond well to being approached? Because to me, it's a weird thing, right? Like I can, like, I for the most part, I've read into the notion that women don't want to be approached, which is a really interesting concept because it's like never, like
yeah,
like you don't want to be approached at all. Like, it could almost make you feel like super insecure in one of those ways that like rejection is such a huge thing for a lot of people that like maybe they don't want to like approach a woman because it takes a lot of courage to do so.
Yeah, that's true.
If I had to like narrow it down as to like what way I would prefer to date someone, I think kind of having a friend and maybe developing something there. I've done kind of the social media dating. I mean it was successful in the fact that it worked out, right? But not then successful in the fact that we broke out, right? Like
right.
We had a 2-year relationship, great. I've never really just like met someone in the wild and it's worked out because it's almost the same as online dating. That spontaneity has to be perfect for quite a while. Like, and when you don't have a rapport with someone, it makes things difficult, right? Like when you swipe right on someone and you like them, right? Like how long is it for you to be like, when's the right time to ask whether they want to go on a date or not? Or do you constantly ask yourself, like, am I keeping them entertained enough? Like, and then like you get, I don't want to say defeated, but you're like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Like, why am I even thinking about this? And so in a weird way, like for me, like I just kind of give up. Like, I'm like, I'm spinning in circles in my own head. I'm done. What are some of those things for you? Like,
so for me, like
and I'm sorry, you didn't exactly answer the question. Do you prefer to meet someone online? So
I did. Okay. I'd say they're all
all viable candidates.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think one should be a no. Like I don't prefer one over the other. They all have their place.
Sure.
So for me, I'm definitely like the avid, like, let's hurry up. Let's kind of move this thing along.
Yeah.
But more so because like I hate the
bullshitting.
Yes.
Alan, please expand on what you just said about being relevant. I don't know if that's a joke or not. Sorry, go on, Juan.
How you gotta do this, I love it. Welcome to the show, bud. For me, it's I don't like all the bullshit in the early stage of it. I am very much a like human interaction type. Like I dance better in person than virtually.
I'm gonna play a Jess here. So what do you do to get to that point, to bridge that gap, to say, hey, let's hang out?
So for me, it's like if I've been talking to you now for, let's say, 2 or 3 days, I'm gonna throw it out there, but like, hey, you want to go grab a drink and do this thing face to face? Like, I won't say do the thing face to face, but I'm like, hey, if you're free this week, want to go grab a drink, dinner, or some shit like that on me?
You want to make out, like whatever?
Want to go make out? I got I know a priest. We can get married. Just the little, the normal conversation stuff.
The things chicks really want.
The things all they want to hear. Listen, I got a ring already. Mm-hmm. Let's do the thing. My parents got a ticket just waiting to fly out.
Have you ever made out with someone who makes out with you with their eyes open?
Dude, I listen, full confession, I used to make out with my eyes open. Way early on. It was like it would trip people out, so I did stop.
just a dead-eyed fish. Okay. So then, sub question to this: dating coworkers. Like, are you against it? Are you for it?
No, man, I'm for it.
A weird stigma to it. Like,
I think I'm for it because I'm in sales. But like, here's the thing: we work.
I have my opinion on this, but I'll shed light. But go on.
Yeah, we work fucking 40 hours a week
together. Exactly.
Together. You bitch to these people that you work with already about your day, because these are the only people that will understand truly the shit you're going through. If I tried to go to my spouse who knows nothing about my industry and complain about how this customer is mad over the discounting and the XYZ and they're changing all this, I got too much to explain for you to.
So you're advocating cheating on your wife with your coworker.
Yes. Normalize it. No, I'm fucking. That's not the case. But I look at it this way. Like, I understand where the caution comes in, because the awkward side to that is if you date somebody that you work with and then you break up, I have to see this person all the time. That's why I think, like, in any situation, right, when you think about, or at least how I think about this, right, when I think about the person you're going to date, essentially in your head, unless this isn't your flavor of the month, like, I'm dating to find the person I'm planning to spend the rest of my life with. That being said, like, that's tricky as fuck to find one person in the world that you're going to spend the rest of your life with.
I mean, for me, it's Alwyn, but go on.
Well, that's so weird, because that's exactly what Alwyn said I was to him.
Okay. Because the boy is mine. And then they come to the You know what sucks is that song is freaking awesome. And it's so catchy, but as a dude, you can't sing that. Like, you can't
do it.
Brandy and Monica really fucking dug in that niche. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's one of those things where it's like you're in high school or you're whatever, and it's like, well, you're around these people so much.
It's like-minded people.
It's exactly, and it's so like you are in the trenches. And I think part of dating is like you and whoever this other person is, like, being in the trenches together and going through the same things and experiencing the same things. And that's like kind of how you latch and bond to each other. It's really hard to like not want to maybe date a coworker and not think about a coworker that way. To me, that's like, but the caveat to that is you can't do that song and dance without toting a fine line of this thing known as your job. Because if you are like overly anxious or overly ambitious or say the wrong thing or whatever, that's your job. You're making things uncomfortable for them, and that's where you have to tote that line. That's where you have to like really make sure, like really make sure that this person is that person.
I think it also, like, there's a maturity. There's a maturity level that needs to be on both parties, right? Like, if you are going to confront a coworker and have that interest in it, right? Like, communication's key. Like, hey, listen, tell them how you feel, and like, listen, I'd love to take you out. If it doesn't work, whatever, we can just keep it what it is. But like having that communication, I also feel like the notion of not dating a coworker, in my mind, falls in line with self-sabotage on you are immediately trying to find something wrong before you even give it a shot. Right off the bat, like, no, this guy's great, but I work with him. Nope. Like, really? Like, this guy could be it, but simply because you work at the same place, you're just gonna be like, nah, I'm cool. Like, there's no, like, that's the self-sabotage of always thinking of the negative and feeding into that negative. I'm only thinking about the worst case scenario here.
If there's one thing I hate, and I used to do this a lot, is assume the situation or predict the outcome. And to me, that's like, it's self-sabotage. You can't predict how people are going to do what you're going to think, do, just because you're uncomfortable or scared. Now, I am not advocating for everyone in here to start asking out their coworkers. What I am saying is,
straight up, go to your boss. I want to date you. I like you.
More or less what I'm saying is, if you like a coworker or you have feelings for them, you know, it's okay to have that adult conversation with them, right? And you have to pre-frame it, and you yourself have to be ready for one outcome, which is rejection, right? Like, you have to be okay with that, and you have to be okay with continuing a professional relationship with this person that isn't going to impede on their job, right? Like, you can't make them second guess anything when they go to work. You can't make them feel uncomfortable or anything. And you yourself have to be okay with the negative side to this. And even if he or she says yes and they date you or whatever, you also have to be professional enough to say, if this doesn't work out, I will maintain my integrity throughout. But yeah, I agree with Alan, shoot your shot. To which, moving on, we're always talking about the qualities we want, at least to each other. And we could throw it out here, but maybe we would sound vain or whatever, redhead. Anyway, and so
6-figure job, redhead,
6 foot, must have that. I've never heard. Okay,
must be a great cook.
I've never heard of redheaded women. I know more men that are like super into redheaded women, right? I think they're gorgeous. Right. I have never once met a girl who's like, "Ooh, let me get one of them redheaded dudes." It just like doesn't like I've never.
They don't. Here's the thing: they don't say it, but I like they'll see it and be like, "Yeah," because like there's something about like a ginger kid who just like you're a fucking unicorn, man. Like you're a fucking.
Well, there is one ginger unicorn, that's Ed Sheeran, who has the voice of a fucking angel. I think we can all agree to that. Really? Wow, you don't like Ed Sheeran?
All right, he can sing. I'm just not like a.
I
can honestly tell you right now, I can't name you a single Ed Sheeran song.
Shape of You, which is what I sing you all the time.
It's just got weird here on the show.
We're friends with benefits.
No. That's your definition of friends with benefits. I have a completely different definition of friends with benefits. And for those who don't understand what my definition is,
we have
to go back and listen
for each other. We're friends with benefits.
Please go back and listen to last week's episode to understand my definition of friends with benefits. Not the same as Nabil's.
And we're thick.
We aren't. That's not us.
I'm just saying, he just dropped an album too. He did drop an album. I saw that on Spotify.
Yeah, I don't listen to the guy. I mean, they just
blood in the mirror. Lord of the Rings. He killed it. Anyway, those are one of my qualities, by the way. Yeah, none of that hashtag. So we're constantly talking about the qualities that we want, right? And we could run down that list, and honestly, that would be, I don't know. It just wouldn't prove anything as far as like whatever. Anyway, brain on track. Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Instead of asking for the qualities that we want, what are the qualities that you bring?
Oh, I mean, where do I begin?
You're already you have a sweet collection of VHSs, bro.
I got a mean Pokemon collection.
I got
7 foot
graphic.
I
live at my mom. I have 2 rooms at my mom's house.
I got 2 residents. The one I live in and my mom's place. Actually, I have 3 residents and in my dad's place. So
I have Wolverine shoes. I have cargo shorts and jean shorts, special occasions, bro. I play basketball in my sandals. By the way, everything that I'm saying right now has all been true at some point in time in my life. I just want to throw
You
that
used
out
to
there.
play basketball in sandals?
Yeah.
Hell is wrong with you? Did you just not like your ankles?
Like,
how many sandals did you blow up? Because I feel like a good cut and you just blow out.
And it's that. It's like I was just like crossing and just shoot. Foot fell out the side.
That's great. No, I mean, I think for when I look at it, the qualities I have is the. You know what I realized as I wrote this question and I'm saying it and now thinking about answering this question, how
stupid it sounds.
Not stupid, but like almost how conceited answering this thing almost comes off.
Kind of how I read it.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, it's like at first I read it that way, but then I was like, all right, let me try to pre-frame it instead of saying like, here's what I want in a woman. Here's what I need, like my must. But I get it. I get what you're saying, which is like, all right, well, like, cool. Like what, like as a dude, like what do you bring?
What do I bring?
More than just like, oh, I have money and whatever. It's like, okay, well, like
that's superficial shit. Anybody can fucking have that, right? Like
not Alwyn. I know that. That's
Alwyn's broke for all those who yeah, a Cecil is a broke bastard.
That's Cecily.
That's Cecily.
Listen, here's what I'll start out with, right? Like here are some of these qualities that like I think I would bring to a relationship, right? I am constantly the kind of person that I would say like a challenge, right? Like, and you know this, like I fiercely debate with you on certain subjects, like to just like be a devil's advocate. But I am that way, but to challenge someone, right? Like, is this the best you can do? Well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And oddly enough, the one person I get that from is you, because you do that shit to me constantly. And yes, it's annoying sometimes, but it's like, all right, I just got like mentally cleansed. And I think that is a quality that somebody would want in a partner, right? Like, I would consider myself the kind of person that would want people around me that push me to be better, whether it's friends, family, whether it's my coworkers, but also in my dating life. Right. Now, do I want it intensely all the time? No. And do I want to send it off as intensely? No, not really, right? Like after a long day, like that's just not some shit that you want to deal with. You want to relax. But I think that would be a quality that I think would be a positive one to bring to the table, because like being stagnant in life, I just think you need to be challenged, right?
No, 100%.
I think the things in life that we want, when you get them, aren't actually the things that meant the most to you. It's the journey. It's the constant comfort. And that's just kind of how I look at it, right? It's a very, I don't know, maybe people agree with me, maybe not. But, you know, I'd like to think that's a quality that somebody would appreciate. Also, I could probably just beat the shit out of anybody knows. Especially you punk ass Mark. Anyway,
listen, we've gone over this time and time again. We ever get in a fight, I'm grabbing any object I can grab and I'm swinging at your knees.
Well, you better bat 100. You better bat 1,000.
I'm swinging to the fences, baby. You know what I'm saying? They could call me Wally Sosa. You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, there's the humor aspect of it. There's the talking all night and day, right? Like those are the interpersonal things that I just like love. That I think are quality of relationship, right? It's always the little things. When you build a friendship or when you build a relationship, it's the same thing, right? Like, it's the random conversations you're having at 2 a.m. over nothing, but like somehow exploring everything. So like that's kind of how I was thinking about it as far as answering the question, more or less than, well, I'm 6'4", I'll beat the fuck out of anybody, I'll make 6 figures.
Like, no, I get that, because I mean, like in when I think of myself, like I am very much a team orientated person. I am.
Always exclude me then. Why am I always on the bench?
Because you're not a starter.
I'm a star. God damn it.
You're a
triple double.
Listen. I didn't want to have this come out here in front of all these people.
I'm number 1 pick.
You are a backup to a role player at best. At best, you are the top practice squad guy we got.
Cut me.
No one. I'm not cutting you.
Release
cutting you
what? Stop holding my contract. You clearly don't think highly of me.
I don't think you heard me correctly. You are the top practice squad guy on our team.
Better than your starters.
You're not even close to the role
player.
You're a backup to the role player. You're like the fucking 12th man guy, but you're here because we need to practice against some really good talent.
Bro, let me tell you something. Nobody in the league can cuddle like I can. Big Spoonie? Are you kidding me, bro? Fuck out of here.
Everybody wants to be Big Spoon. Everybody wants to be a Big Spoon. Nobody wants to be a Little Spoon. Everybody want to be. We can't have a team full of Big Spoons. Who cuddling? Who cuddling? If everybody Big Spoons. See, that's what's wrong with you. That's why. Are
you a cuddler, by the way?
Fuck yeah, I'm a cuddler.
I think cuddling is totally underrated, but go on. Sorry.
Yeah, normalize that. That's going to be the side title to this episode.
Normalize cuddling.
Normalize that. We're normal everything. There's a lot of things we're trying to normalize. Pee sitting down, normalize it. Cuddling, normalize it. That's all I'm saying.
What are some things, total side note, before you start the qualities of relationships, because we all know you don't bring any. What are some things that, like, I'm kidding. One, dude.
Come on. Hair.
Okay. What are some things that should be normalized, by the way?
Would you say that again? Sorry, I was laughing.
What do you think are some things that, like, are looked down upon that should be normalized? Basically, the things that you would make fun of a light-skinned brother for, that you yourself are like, yeah, I'd like that.
I think there's a lot of things that, like, as a male, we don't normalize and we get shit on for. So, like, one thing, right? Getting manicures and pedicures, normalize that shit. Get over yourself. Like, the fact that we grew up in this era where it was, like, soft to get your feet done and your hands done. Here's the thing. I personally, I don't like cutting my toenails. Don't like doing it. If somebody else can do it, and someone whose job it is to do it, who can do it 1,000 times better than I can do it, why not? Treat yourself. That's all part of health, right? Like, you go to a dentist, you go to a doctor, why not go to somebody to take care of your feet? Same thing.
Yeah, that's feet.
That's all I'm saying. Normalize it.
Okay. No, I agree. Honestly, the only issue I have with petties are that I'm super ticklish, and that shit, I was like, oh, it's hell when they get to the bottom of my feet. But
yeah, you can tell them, like, I mean, you can tell them, hey, listen, I'm a little ticklish on the feet, because I've definitely seen people go in there who are ticklish on the feet, and they like doing all the shit, and they're just like giggling their ass off. They're like, I'm a little ticklish. All right, cool. And then they'll like work around it, like trying to not make it weird.
Maybe you can stop tickling my feet.
So weird. But no, like that's one of many things. Like say that for sure is one. Fucking men wearing pink, like, if you can work it, work it.
My favorite color.
Like,
that is
pink,
real men
purples,
wear pink.
like, that's on, like, throw out the whole pastels. You can't wear it. If you can rock it, kill it.
I love pink.
See, normalize it.
I totally have been for years. So back to the question at hand.
Yeah,
perfection is perfected. So you got to let them understand what qualities do you bring to the table.
So like I was mentioning earlier, I'm very much a team orientated person. I'm very much a like, we succeed regardless of who person in party is successful. We as a group succeed. By that standard, I'm a fucking hype man to no extent. Like, I will be your number one cheerleader for anything. You fucking bought a new pair of shoes that you're just like mad about. I'm like, girl, kill that shit. Like, I cannot hype up a partner enough in all aspects of life. You get a promotion, you find your wallet. Like, it doesn't matter, right?
You found your wallet. Fuck yeah!
Fucking do it. Do that shit. That's what. But fucking
get him.
LeBron, that
this shirt's getting too big on me, by the way. I fucking hate
wear smaller shirts.
I just bought this 3 weeks ago.
Then take it off, ball that shit up,
throw it in my mom's face.
There you go. Take this, mom. But yeah, no. So like the like team mindedness of like that, of one hyping you up, but then the other part is like, I want us to both be successful. So it's like, I understand in the sense of like a team, that I don't mind sacrificing some things to help you reach your goals, as long as this is reciprocated to do the same, right? Compassion's another piece, right? Like I understand there are a lot of flaws every person brings into a relationship, and there are going to be just natural shitty things that each other will do that we won't necessarily agree to, because it's usually backtracked by past relationship traumas, yada yada yada, whatever that is. For me, I'm a
Alwyn should be very supportive if his girlfriend wants to go and buy candles and wants to buy weird shit at what is it called? Philanthropy? Anthropology.
If she wants to, Alwyn,
She wants to drop 130
no,
on
Alwyn,
one candle ball.
You can't
with
say
a
no.
little flavor dip on it, brother. You gotta go. You guys to go.
You gotta go, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, if your girl wants to drop $100 on a candle at Anthro,
at Philantro,
then like my guy, like,
yeah,
support your queen,
okay,
man. Like, get up,
bum.
Give her your credit card, drive her.
And you need to be more like your idol, Drake. Gotta be soft.
You gotta be soft, man. You gotta play Grand Theft Auto, pick up the prostitutes, and drive them to a nice part of town. You gotta do that.
I mean, that's okay. You know what? I didn't know how that would end, and so I was shocked when it started out. And then
that's what Drake do, man. Drake will play Grand Theft Auto, pick up the prostitutes, and drop them off.
So what other qualities do you have that I want to swipe right on?
Like I say, you know, having an understanding, sympathy, compassion, team orientated.
Now, when is there? So when you say sympathy, when is there like time for tough love? Like, hey, get your bitch ass up, stop crying all the time.
So here's my thing, right? I believe every relationship there is time for tough love, but you have to earn it. Sure. Tough love isn't something that gets interpreted well early in a relationship.
I agree, because it's looked at as like you're judging me, you're looking down on me, you don't care, you don't have compassion.
And all that comes from a place of trust, right? Like if your trust isn't 100%, when you go into that tough love without edification, right? Like if I'm coming at you with some real shit, like, look, listen, you use your ass up, you've been on the couch all fucking day, like, got to do something.
Early in the relationship, man, you got to get on that couch with her, Cal. You got to just.
Listen, sometimes shit got to get done.
She's laying down, you got to lay down right next to her, put your head on her hips, and just
Yeah, there's time for that, but there's also a spot where, like, if I'm looking at his fucking clothes on the floor and shit in the house and the kitchen's a mess, like, girl, let's get this shit in order first, and then we can cut on the couch. Let's do some shit. You know what I mean? But all that to say, like, the tough love is earned. You got to get to that point in the relationship before tough love becomes something that can just be thrown out. Which is funny. I will use this guy as a reference. I love our buddy Hitman's relationship with his wife.
Oh, Juan, come on. Now you know Juan.
But like my love for their fucking relationship is like they dated since high school.
Yeah.
For those who have no idea, Hitman's a guy that we play Xbox with. I've known him for fucking years. I've known him now for
10 plus.
Way like 13 years, since college. I've literally known the man since college. Anyway, he's dated this girl since high school. It's progressed now. Like, they got several kids. The oldest kid's off in college. They're like almost all. He has like 5 kids, I think, or 4 kids. I think there's only one still living in the house, and he about to get the hell out. So anyway, like their relationship is so aggressive, it's hilarious. Like it's
almost like,
yeah, it's like he'll be like sitting on the couch or some shit, and like she'll walk in front of the TV and he's like, girl, if you don't move your ass away from the TV. And they'll just like go back and forth with their shit. But like, again, it's like everything he said he meant. It wasn't like he's bullshitting about it. It's like, no, get the fuck out of the TV. But it's not reciprocated in a negative fashion, because again, you fucking have this time in where like you get the person. There's just like, you can just say some shit to some people and they get it, right? So to that point, tough love is essential.
I remember talking to this girl, and there's subtle like ways on how you level up your jokes, right?
Yeah.
And so there was a scenario where I guess came out of the bathroom or something, whatever. And I always sit in this one spot on the couch. It's like, it's my spot on the couch. Mm-hmm. And I walk out and she's sitting there, and I was like, hey, you're in my spot. Now, for people who are getting to know me or don't know me, like, it is more rare that I'm actually serious when I make a serious comment than not. Mostly I'm just dry humor, it's sarcasm. Well, she thought I was serious and was so apologetic and felt so terrible. She moved and I was like, I'm totally kidding. She goes, no, I don't want to like upset you. I don't want to upset me for what? It was a joke. And and it was held against me as a thing, like, for weeks. I was like, listen, it's really not a big deal. I promise it was just a joke. And yeah, you gotta, like, there are certain things that, like, you want to get to that get your fucking ass up off the couch type relationship.
Oh, move. Just grab her foot and drag it.
But it is, as you said, not a thing you should do early on.
Yeah, you gotta earn that shit.
Which
I mean, you're spot on the couch.
The truth is, here's the thing: the job got done. She got the fuck out. Now, did I mean it in such a mean way? Not really. But it was just, I'm sometimes a little too spontaneous in my sarcasm. I can filter things at the last second pretty well, but that I just, like, thought that they got that I was joking, and, like, clearly I wasn't. Which brings me to my next question. How do you define love?
What a segue.
Because to me, I want to love that's me thinking of you, thinking of me, thinking of you type love. I want to love that's me thinking about how far I can get away with not calling you after I leave your house and I couldn't make it to the garage before I called you. I want to love that is me dying and getting reincarnated into another body in another country to see if I can figure out the same ways, if I can love you the same, but in a different language. That's the type of love I want.
I want the kind of love where my fucking whiskey just refills.
That's called magic.
That's called marriage. Because then I could just, like, yell at my wife and bring me another fucking bottle.
You're Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai. Suck it! Suck it! Suck it! Like, I don't know why he went handicapped, like, yelling, all that. Like, it was just, like, so overacting. Like, you didn't have to emphasize your pain that much.
Probably because it's a white guy playing The Last Samurai.
Well, it's historically accurate. There is actually some historical accuracy to the movie. I love the movie. Despite the joke, I love the movie. How do you define love? Like, what is that to you?
So I feel cliche to answer.
Constantly, just
cakes, just smash, just.
This is why Jess needed to be here.
This is 100% why Jess needed to be here, to keep us from broing this thing out. Because we broing it out. Here's what love is for me: booty shorts, white t-shirts,
yep,
wet hair,
yep. Ever notice how wet hair is like? I don't like being around it. It's like has its own atmosphere. It's so thick. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, you're not a fan? Oh, I'm a huge fan.
No,
like,
I'm not
shower
a fan.
hair?
I'm not a fan. It's like I now know what Luke Skywalker was going through in the swamp when he met Yoda. Like, that is what wet hair is to me. It is just like, get this the fuck off of me. And then, like, it's just like staining the whole bed and the couch, and it's like, what? Like, go dry your shit off. Anyway.
See, this is where the compassion comes in. You gotta understand. That's a fucking, like, time. It's like an hour to dry all that shit.
Now, she chose to grow that hair, not me. So
see, this is how I know. This is also how I know you got a punk ass beard, because you also don't understand. Like, this takes a lot to dry. I gotta have a hair dryer. I have to hair dry this. There's no, like, towel gonna fix this. Nah.
Kid out over here crying all the time.
See?
Juan gets
it.
Juan don't get nothing. Juan don't get nothing. He's sorry. He can't man up to you. And just
all I'm saying is,
dry
you gotta sympathize.
She
ain't got 2 hours to spend.
Dry hair to shave it. Dry hair to shave it. I said it. Shave your goddamn head.
She ain't got 2 hours to spend drying all this shit just so you can feel comfortable with her not having wet hair and shit.
Me feeling comfortable.
Embrace,
bro. If I have to put on deodorant, you got dry hair.
That ain't even the same. She got to put on deodorant. What you talking about?
What the fuck is that? Juan over here speaking for all womankind.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to just, you know what I'm saying? Ladies, I'm your ally. That's all I'm saying.
So how would you define love?
Man, that's a tough one.
Because it's pretty easy for me.
I honestly define love as it's like when you have it for this person, you don't want this particular feeling, this life with anyone else. There's like I look at it like, you know, I'll take my parents for example, right? For any reason, if I upset my parents or pissed them off or did something to disappoint them, like I'm not right. I'm not right. Like I have to rectify this. I have to fix this. This it's an accountability that I feel I owe this person. When I love somebody, there becomes this accountability that I have for them. Like I truly now look at you as a person that everything you do, you say, you speak of matters. There's a lot of people in my life that I talk to that I truthfully, like I hear your shit, but I don't really give a shit. I give a shit when we're talking. I give a shit in this moment, and I give a shit if it's important. And if you're closer a friend group, then yeah, I do give a shit. But like when that love happens, it now becomes a like I feel like I owe more. I want to give more. I want to be around you more. There becomes a part of my life that you have become a part of that I don't or can't fathom, like thinking of you not in it, right? It's hard to put that feeling or that emotion into wording, but it's a, you know, I mean, I think the closest feeling I had was, or the closest thing that I can think of that's not true love to a person is like people who have a pet, the love you have for your dogs or your cats or whatever your thing is, right? Like my dog was the only living thing that could piss me the fuck off that I could get over real quick. She was so fucking annoying, but at the same time, like, yeah, I get it, right? Like I accepted more from you than I would others because there was a genuine love there. When you have that for another person, and that love is there, for me, it's almost a consumption of your life. Like I will now alter my life to make sure you fit and plug in some type of way. That's what love is for me. It becomes a sacrifice. It becomes a desire. It becomes a way of life. When you reach that moment, you're in, and I will alter all things to make sure this thing works because I'm willing to sacrifice a lot of shit just to make sure you don't leave my life.
Yeah, to me, it's unconditional, right? Like it's making the things that aren't possible. Mm-hmm. It's super intense to say this, but it does become life or death in certain scenarios, right? Like I'm laying every piece of me out for you. And then also you are seeing the side of me that not my family, not my friends, and anybody that knows me sees in the worst and best of times. And you get to be a part of that, however special that may be to you, right? Like to the greatest of accomplishments and the lowest of lows, you're there for that person. And that is something that is so much more than just a friend, right? Not that a friend wouldn't ever be proud of you or there for you or whatever, but
yeah,
this person is almost that mirror of your life because it is your life.
Yeah.
To me, that is love. It is the ultimate sacrifice for each other. It is no longer a 50-50 idea. It is 100 and 100 for each other all the way. Whether this person is maybe wrong a lot of the times or right, you're by their side no matter what. And so it is that. You're basically their vest when shots are fired, right? Like
right.
It no longer becomes about you. And that, to me, it's like the most special thing that I think all animals can like come to a conclusion of, right? Like that bond that like, I'm just there for you, right? It's the one universal feeling. It's love. It's crazy. and it does crazy things to people in some of the best and most amazing ways.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like one of those things that we're describing it, but it's undescribable. I could show you mosaics and paintings and songs and literature and everything in between, but you will never understand what it is until you yourself feel it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing and it's powerful. And as corny as it sounds, it's the most beautiful thing you can be a part of. And it's one of those things that I could say, like, I think modern day people are scared of it, and it's okay, but it's something I think no matter the worst hurt is always a thing I'll strive for, right? It's just like a thing that I would work to jump 2 feet in. Yeah. Now I would always say this, don't ever be blind about it. Always be conscious, and cautious about who you're giving your time to and all that jazz.
But that's the funny thing I feel, with when love is a factor, when you get into this moment where, because it's cliche to say because it's real, like you fall in love. It's not a thing where it's like, this girl, I'm gonna force myself to love this person.
Yeah,
you just kind of wake up like, fuck, right? Like I'm fucking locked in. What up, Cease? What up, boy? You fall in, like, you just fall in love with this person and reality of the situation. And I mean, you were kind of here through it, right? Like, you fuck around sometimes and you really fall in love with the wrong person.
Yeah.
And that's when I always used to say I don't believe that asshole people were born. I don't believe that the guy, ladies who you might have dated who turned out to be a dick was just born a dick. And guys who dated a chick who's a dick wasn't born a dick. Nice people are turned into assholes. Nice people are turned into dicks by being hurt by somebody else. And in that situation of you fall in love with the wrong person, you fuck around and learn a lesson one way or the other. You're either going to learn the lesson of, I was wrong in kind of assessing this person and let's learn from this to do better the next time. Or you learn you don't ever want to get hurt like this again. Fuck how I did shit before. I'm changing it up. Yeah. And then you get to this motion of you're almost emotionless or careless, for that matter, of other people's feelings and thoughts, because fuck it. Nobody gave a shit about mine when I was in it. When I was going through my shit and gave my heart to somebody and they shit all over it. So why should I give a shit about somebody else? And then you progress into this asshole concept now.
Yeah.
Because you were hurt and you have no other way of kind of expressing that and getting it out. So it's funny how you're right. We need to do a better, more conscious job of analyzing people before we give our all to them.
It's hard.
It's such a fucking hard thing to do.
It's a lot of what I'm saying, a lot of what we say are conceptually easy to say, but it's difficult in practice.
Yeah.
It's difficult in real life, right? Like it's one of those things, like, I don't know, you're just like what are those things? A fucking horse with blinders on. Like,
yeah.
It's so rare that you look left or right. It's like, hold on a second, right? Like, and even if your best of friends come in and say, hey, you are fucking up.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like make that person understand and not resent you. That is super difficult. Yeah. Which to me, this segues into the next question. I think the things that you love based on your experience constantly changes, like what it is that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. But knowing that you love someone, that doesn't, right? And so my question to you is, how do you know you're in love with someone, right? Like what is that feeling, or what is that thought process? Because
it's you won't be able, I think, to relate to this
I get
analogy.
Oh, okay. Sorry, never mind.
But it's almost an intoxication.
Yeah.
Like it becomes a.
Are you saying I won't get it?
I mean, you've never been drunk, so it's kind of like.
Oh, no, I understand what intoxication is, though.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So in that sense, right? Like it's
I know what it's like to be addicted to marshmallows. I want to.
All right, so you get it.
Right now.
You get it. But like exactly what we're getting here in the chat, man. It's like you cannot imagine your life without this person. Like it becomes an intoxication in the sense of like you're all I'm fucking thinking about. Like I wake up, I talk to you. I go to sleep, I talk to you.
I need forever. Oh man. Such a good song.
It's a fucking
such
jam.
A classic with Mary J.
God, such a banger. That's a hit. But yeah, it gets to that point to where like it to the sacrifice, right? Like I will do anything for this person. You fucking call me at 3 a.m. that you're in fucking Buda and your car broke down. Like I'm gonna be mad you didn't call me, right? Like
I'm gonna be mad you did call me. Yo, we're on the third circle of Warzone.
There are 6 people left, and we're playing duos. And you call me with this shit, I'm gonna be there. But you got to give me like 10 minutes because I'm about to we're clutching this bitch and I'm out.
And begin the process of leaving.
Exactly, but I'm gonna be delayed. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that for me, that's what it is. It's a wake up and like this person's it. Like there's no one else that fits the mold at this moment, right? Of everything that you're thinking about, everything that you want, and everything you're trying to process. Like this is it, and that takes time. You know that takes time to get to that point. But for me, that's when I know that I am in love with this person because it's so fucked up. I start thinking about this, right? Like no one else's opinion matters now.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's for me when it's in is when you become deaf, dumb, blind. I'm pretty sure I think that's a movie or some shit. But you like logic goes out the window. You don't nothing you do, your single self would make fun of you so much for some of the things that you're doing. But it's just becomes normalized at that point to do these things. And that's for me when it is. Like you just know that shit.
I'm gonna jump back to something you said, but how do I know when I'm in love? It's one of those things for me where it's the corniest of shit. It's like the butterflies, right, that are constantly rummaging and running. I can't look at the person sometimes because I'm just so like, man, I'm so into this moment right now, and I'm like, I don't want to be fucking weird, but like I'm so into this, and I just can't like get enough. And like to me, like absolutely, it's totally that. It's corny as shit. And the truth is, like, the moment I know I'm like in love is like when I hang out with this person. The first realization that you have that you don't want them to leave is like such a sinking Titanic, right? It's like you're fighting it and you're fighting it and you're fighting it, and my God, this thing's going down. Save the women and the children.
Ain't it the weirdest shit that I feel like before, like, let's say you start talking to a chick, right? Like you're peacocking, right? You're fucking shutting your shit. You're trying to fucking let them know, like, I'm that guy. And then when you start dating this person, that fear of like losing this person almost turns into like an anxiety of like, now I'm super conscious of everything that I'm doing. Like, I don't want to fuck this thing up. Like, please God, I don't want to fuck this thing up. Like, get this shit. But that was never really like a thought until it became serious. Like your mindset's so different until you got him. Like, I got you. Now I'm like, ooh, I gotta change. I gotta like I gotta do
to me, it's I don't like it's the beforehand to that, which by the way, like to me, like I hate the feeling, but I love the feeling. And it's that you got to normalize like those corny feelings. Like it's cool. Like here's the thing. 100%. I think we've talked about this a lot before. Like I think the biggest disservice men don't do with their sons is allowing them to accept love and being okay with it, not being shy and being brave, like just being okay with like the whole process. And it's like men just trying to talk to their sons about how to approach women and talk to women and how to handle,
and not even just sons. I think well, sons one because we're boys, of course.
Of course, right? Yes.
But like I think in general with kids, right? I think about and I'm saying this and
Juan made that point earlier with his dog CD. So yes, go on.
Yeah. But like and I'm saying this not at all to take a stab at how I was raised, because you do what you do, and I preface that because my dad's on. But I think that whole message or that piece was kind of missed out in a lot of people's childhood of how to love, what love is, what's accepted, what's normalized, was not really talked about a lot as a kid.
Yeah, it wasn't in my house either. And I think that's because our dads are of a different mold. I think as about a lot of our dads here are from a different mold, which was like, lead by example, work hard, show love to your family, and by osmosis they'll learn. But the reality is, like, you need coaching. But you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But also the other thing is, like, no matter what coaching you could have given me, I'm gonna fuck up along the way a lot. I'm gonna say the stupid shit. I'm gonna be bad at like approaching women, and it's just one of those things you just got to learn. But I think as much as you can to help that is ideal. And 100%. So the thing that I was gonna get back to was, like, you made mention, like, none of your friends can say shit to you because your mind is made. Right. I kind of agree with that sentiment, because my philosophy is, like, it doesn't matter what I say to you, I have to support you unless it's really a dire scenario where someone's getting hurt, right? Like those are scenarios.
Yep.
But if I see a foul or like kind of it doesn't seem right or whatever, like the moment I try to bring something up, and do you mind if I use an example?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you had made mention that you really like this girl and that you thought about moving to another city, which was like away from your friends and away from a lot of people that you knew and away from a lot of things.
In hindsight, to a city that I fucking hate, by the way. Like, that's also the fucking bizarre shit.
What was it? It was College Station.
College Station of all
fucking places. It's one of those things where I'm like, I had to answer it with, okay, well, I mean, like, hey man, like, you have to support them, right? Like, you would drop little hints of like College Station, just to make them think about it. But if I were to be like, hey, that's kind of fucking stupid because maybe you just don't know them as well, and this thing isn't matured and blah blah blah.
Right.
You would have been pretty venomous, as we all would have, though. Like, this isn't a thing against you. All of us are in that scenario.
100%.
I was in that scenario a few years ago when, you know, there was this girl that I liked, and we finally kind of, you know, and it was, and so it was one of those things where my friends were subtly cautioning me, and I was too head over heels in that moment that I'm like, maybe you're kind of being assholes about this. And it's like, it turns into a thing where, like, you don't want your friends to resent you, right? I wouldn't ever want you to resent me, because I just, like, I would rather you learn and grow from it, and foster it the best you can, and be there for you whether it goes well or it doesn't, because that's what you need me for. And along the way, if you have questions or whatever, I'm here to help answer as best as I can, just as you would be to me, just as your friends should be 100%. To you and your family.
And I find it funny because I've had this conversation with a few people recently, especially in the aftermath of all my shit.
Yeah.
When you are like, how do I say this? When you're like a level-headed person and you surround yourself with like-minded people in a positive direction, good people, right? You kind of build this safety net of people that you genuinely give a shit about, that you keep around you because they're usually driving you to be better, right? Like, when we had our friendship conversation, right? Like, the reason our friendship works is like we're like-minded in the sense of we're trying to fucking get paid a lot of money and do little work in order to get paid a lot, right? Like that's the motive.
Why do you say that? I'm gonna check my Shiba. Go on.
Yeah, check that. But in that, we're also at a point to where we are also very sensible people, and we can give each other very real advice about shit that we relate. We get each other, right? So when you have these people around you that get you, can relate to you, understand you better than almost anybody else, right? It's funny that these people around you in any relationship, and I want anybody who's fucking listening to this shit, think about your past relationships that were shit. How many of these people in your inner circle dropped hints that this wasn't a good fit? Dropped hints that this wasn't going to work? And for those of you who are in a relationship, think about how many of these people were like, you didn't hear those things anymore. You didn't hear it so often. You didn't hear everybody was like, oh no, you probably should leave her. Or I don't know if that's he's treating you like shit. You should. I wouldn't take it. Right? Like, we don't ever listen to our counsel when we should be fucking listening to our counsel. There's a reason you have these people in your life, because you trust them with a lot of shit. You already gossip to them about your life. You already tell them about your shit. If you have good people around you, it's hard. Again, it's so much easier when you're not in the shit to say this and realize it. But the reality of it, if we can ever just get past that and unlock and realize you have good people around you and they can see shit from the outside. And if they're telling you now there's a fuck ton of red flags, you should probably listen to them before you fuck around and get yourself too far deep into some shit. You marry that person and you fuck around and divorce this person years later because you got yourself in shit you shouldn't be in. Trust your counsel. If anything I just said, trust your fucking counsel. There's a reason you have them in your life. There's a reason they're there. Trust them.
So I want to say two things. One, I know this is relatively fresh for you. So I want to say this just from me to you. I don't give a fuck who's watching. I think you're harsh on yourself. And I don't think you need to be in regards to, because it's always hindsight. It really is always hindsight. And you don't, it's so much easier to say I shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's so much easier to play the football game and then look back and be like, I fucked up on this play, I fucked up on that play.
Okay, so let's hold that analogy. Let's hold that analogy, right? I've watched my film. I see where I fucked up.
Yeah.
I got to learn from it. Like, regardless of, yes, I might be harsh on myself from that, but it doesn't change the fact that it was still a fuck up.
But the thing is, you didn't fuck up. And the thing is, there's a philosophy that goes with when you watch film. On to the next game. It's just, all right, well, we got to. But
if you don't learn from that fuck up, you're doomed to repeat it.
Of course,
that's the state I'm in, right? Like, I've acknowledged from that situation. And for anybody who's listening, we hinted on it last week. In December, we're going to do our Friday night lock-in, and I'm going to give y'all the really long, full, detailed version of what the fuck I'm talking about.
You know what I kind of would like to do is we stream this, and you're talking, and I want to play video games while we're talking.
Oh, that would be fantastic. That'd be perfect. If we can, and I'm going to use you because I know you had your Twitch stream before. If we can get that where you're fucking playing a game and I'm also in just shooting the shit, talking, and we just do it, that'd be perfect, because it's going to be very unformalized.
Go on.
But all of that to say, like, when we do the lock-in, guys, y'all will understand exactly what we're talking about. So all of this will click and start making more sense. But yes, like, I am at the point where I can self-analyze all of this, because the issue with this whole thing was there are countless, trust your intuition and believe the people when they show you. Exactly, Jen. Good shit. Jenny from the block. Let's go back to Miami. Go to fucking Miami. But right, so I looked at how far I went in.
Yeah.
All that I invested a fuck ton. I gave a lot of myself, a lot of my qualities, a lot of the things that should have been reserved for someone who really appreciated it.
But if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be giving it a fair shake. And I
here's the thing, though, and I hear you.
If you at that time, again, you're hindsighting it, I think. And but
the evidence was in my face the whole time.
You would have beat yourself up and said, "Oh fuck!" Like,
but here's the reality: the truth reality of it explain it. All right, for everybody who's listening, I'm going to explain some of this without giving away the details. I'm just going to give very high level, no names examples. If
She's
you
pregnant,
are talking,
bury the body, and
bury the body where everything's at, I'm going to tell you. If you're talking to somebody who is a friend of yours, and y'all have the conversation of trying to be more than just friends, something else, but they let you know early on that there is another guy that they're already talking to, and you now, and me in that mind, try to compete, red flag off the top, you shouldn't have to compete in this world. That's the lesson I learned from that. Because if I had taken this shit from face value, had I had realized right off the bat that I should not have to fucking compete with another fucking guy, of which on a level, we aren't the fucking same. That's the fuck up. So everything past that, like, this is where everything else just became a waste of fucking time. Everything I did, the investment, the time, the money, the peacocking, all of this shit, all of that was a waste of fucking time. So had I had listened to my counsel, had I had listened to everybody who was fucking around me, that, hey, Juan, she seems awesome, it's cool, da da da, but it's kind of fucked up. I'm like, no, you don't understand the situation. Blah, 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 blah. I'm on the inside. I believe I know more. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. We believe you. Do your thing. We get it. Cool. All right, cool. Trucking along, doing all my shit, and all of a sudden something else new pops up. Oh, here's some new shit. I'm like, Juan, you should really back the fuck out of it. No, you don't understand. You know the situation. Trust your fucking counsel. Because at no point was anybody in my fucking counsel wrong. And I could have saved the business. I could have fucking saved the business had I listened to the counsel that I put into place. So I get how it sounds like I put my, like I'm being too hard on myself. I have to be, because if I wasn't, I would make that same fucking mistake again.
So I actually had a two-part question. This kind of probably coincides. I'm just curious personally, because there were a few general rah-rah speeches I gave you about fuck that.
Yeah.
At the end, it was very tame. It was very gracious. And, you know, I there's no way I could beat you up any more than you were to yourself, right? Like, I don't think a good friend would do that to you.
Right.
Or could do that to you, right? Like, there's right time and place for, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? I'm just curious, personally. When I was giving those general rah-rah, fuck that, you need to just walk away, period, blah, blah, blah. What were you thinking? Like, did you see that and say, nah, this isn't the answer I'm looking for? Did you see that and just be like, he's right, but like, there's this, that, and the other? Or like, were you like, I appreciate the sentiment, whatever? What were your thoughts? I'm just curious.
My thoughts was, I believed her more than I wanted to listen to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you love someone, you are willing to put up with a lot more. And I wanted to believe the words that she said. I wanted to believe that everything that was glitter was gold in that situation, right? Like, there was manufactured evidence of things that echoed.
Was that evidence that you made up for yourself to justify, or
it was evidence that she made up to justify her words, to paint the picture that she's telling the truth, which then was just like, you know, it's like when you tell a story of a scenario, right? I can tell you so much of the story, but again, it's only from my point of view. Even if I heard it from somebody else, there's minutia, little details that you won't get. So as much as I could try to explain it to people, there's like, no, when you just don't understand, like, I know her, I've known her forever. And we're, you know, it just, I hear you, and you're right, if it was different. And that was kind of in my mind, like I saw it was, if this was a different type of situation, yes, you'd be right. But I mean, like, we're talking all the time. I know everything. She's showing me all the shit. I know the truth. Like, da, 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 da. And unbeknownst to myself, the whole fucking thing was a lie.
Yeah.
So that's where it becomes tricky, because you just kind of fall into the naivete of believing that this shit is accurate, that you believe that this person can do no wrong, that you believe this person has no flaws. And that's the issue of falling too soon before you really spend the time to get to know this person. Or how I kind of look at that situation of me trying to manufacture or force this thing to speed up on my terms versus letting it naturally happen. What is this episode? Yeah, we'll look at the dates actually, because it's going to be December because my entire November is fucking nuts.
Oh, when is? I thought he said, "What is this episode?" I was like, about relationship.
No, when it'll probably be early December. We do the Friday episode that we get dirty in this bitch. And I'm going to be honest with
throw this out there.
Everybody who listens to this shit. I don't think there's ever a situation or a story that I'm ever going to tell that I myself will be more disappointed in myself through this entire fucking situation than this story. I've never had more valid shit to literally be like, what the fuck? Like the thing ends with me looking in the mirror and it's like, what the fuck were you thinking? What were you doing? You should have bailed early on. That will happen in December. I will definitely let all y'all fucking know.
I just want to throw this out there. If I'm doing the gaming thing, I'm a fucking nerd. I am a retro game collector. So my collection is vast. So if there is a game in particular on some of the older consoles that you would like to see me play for nostalgic purposes or contemporary games, you let me know. I am Juan got to see this firsthand, an avid Super Nintendo collector. I mean, it is a whole drawer full of these things. And so I would like to know, what do you guys want me to play? Which, by the way, did I ever throw the Donkey Kong? All right, fine. Donkey Kong Country will be up there as a potential. I think the game's okay. It was like great for its time. I'm not like so huge on it, but we could do like your Contras, your Turtles in Time. Fucking love Contra. But Super Mario 3, great one. I love Super Mario All-Stars. So Mike, I don't have Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I have Super Punch Out, which was the sequel to Mike Tyson's Punch Out because Nintendo couldn't get the licensing. Mortal Kombat, that's a possibility. You guys are like throwing out some awesome games. And so I'm down. I appreciate it. I might throw out some titles, just for shits and giggles.
We'll have a lot of time so you can run through multiple games because
I might just keep switching. Sunset Riders. Have we come over and we played Sunset Riders yet? Or any of the final fights? No. We got to do that.
Let's get back on track.
Okay. So you just kind of ran through
a lot.
Just an overbearing amount of shit. I'm kidding. You talked about kind of some of the feelings that you had, right?
Yep.
Retrospectively. So this next question is, what dumb shit have you done in the name of love? If that's something you want to talk about.
This was long ago. This was back when I was oh God, I feel terrible.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I would love for you to go first.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I'm pretty level-headed, so I don't think I've done the most dumb shit. But like the dumbest I could probably think of are things like moving in with me. When probably it like the signs were there, but like you just love and you want to make it work out and bought jewelry. I
mean, jewelry ain't bad, but I mean, at the same time, especially I know that situation.
It wasn't some $3,400 piece. So it was 28. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't that. But it was like that, and then which promptly got given back to me, and I just threw it the fuck away because fuck it. Got her pregnant. No, I'm kidding. That didn't happen. But I have made close decisions. And anyway, those are probably some of the dumb things I've done. It's just like an auto mod. We're gonna allow it.
Race, ethnicity, region. I'll this post.
We're gonna allow it.
Send it.
I've never taken care of anyone else's kids or any of that stuff. I mean, I'd like to think again, I'm pretty level-headed about my decisions. And I have noticed that like some of those decisions have been like it's hurt like the other person's feelings because I'm not head over heels on jumping into things that are like wild and crazy, right? It took me a minute to like come around.
Would you date a chick who had kids?
No,
completely off topic.
I don't think I would.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. That's interesting. I have no problem with it, but that's just me. Also, because I feel like the older I get, the more difficult it is going to be able to find a female who is 34, 35.
Or they're gonna
doesn't have a kid.
It's not like the world's gonna run out of 21-year-olds. Totally a terrible joke.
Touche.
No, I don't think I would. Other dumb shit. We went to Buc-ee's for no reason. I'm kidding. Those are some of the things that I love. That's how you know you're in love, by the way. Like, you will take a trip to fucking Buc-ee's with her just to go to Buc-ee's, and that's awesome.
Hashtag Texas love. Hashtag Texas love.
And I've done that. I remember I told it to Juan.
Bitch, you been to Buc-ee's with me yet? I don't even love you. I don't even love you. What's going on? I don't even love you.
I remember I told it to Juan, like, oh, we're going to Buc-ee's, and he was like, for what?
Like, just Buc-ee's? Like, you fucking just getting in a car and just going to Buc-ee's?
I fucking love Buc-e's, dude. Yo, and
you know what's so funny? And
I love road tripping. Like,
here's the funny thing.
Awesome.
You probably went to the Buc-e's down south, yeah? The one down in like San Marcos? Yeah. And that's the funny thing, because you lived north at that time, yeah?
Uh-huh.
There's a Buc-e's in Temple, which was way closer than driving down to San Marcos.
Yeah, but San Marcos is so much cooler.
Still a Buc-e's, same Buc-e's.
You know what? There's more things you get to see when you're driving south than when you're driving north. It's like desolate. Like, any more north than where I am, like, it's depression. Like,
yeah, because there's only like
there's no summer on that side of the fucking wall. You know what I mean?
Because there's like 3 cities past Georgetown. You got Gerald Slato Belton, and then you got Temple, and in between there's nothing.
Nothing at all. CD's thing that I know one you that and that that shit is shameful on their family part.
Bro,
fuck them.
Countless like high school,
and that's why you give
and college, high school and college. I've heard it all. I can't date you. I love you. I think we'd be great together, but I can't date you because you're black. Because my dad won't approve, or my grandparents won't approve. Of course, your white grandparents won't approve.
I've had whole Mormon dads want me to date their daughter, and I'm Arabic. I mean, if we look at the recent list of like terrible things races have done, that's like in Texas too. Like, all right, well, it's weird how I'm accepted. I don't know.
Bananas.
I guess it's my goofy face. It's just like it's unassuming. I don't know. The dumb shit you've done for is if that's something you don't want to answer, we can move.
No, I don't give a shit. So like, I mean, the openly.
I introduced her to my parents. That's other dumb shit. Sorry, go.
I made it very clear to both of my parents, real early on, that I will never introduce them to someone until I think I'm marrying this person. Which is why my mom and dad have never met any person I have ever dated, ever. Why? For all my dad and mom know, I have never dated a single person in their entire lifetime.
Can I ask a question? Because I don't know the answer to this. What's the longest relationship you've ever been in?
1.5 years.
And in that 1.5 years, they never met her?
Never even talked about it.
Wow.
Never brought it up.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you.
You can, and no bullshit. Carl fucking Thomas is in this chat. Everybody in there, you can message and ask him. He cannot tell you a single person I've ever dated.
He'll put it on a cup for you and give you your answer that way. 10% off for the daily convo.
Daily convo. He'll tell you. Give discount. Yeah. So one was telling a bitch that I would move the fucking College Station. I went there.
Good. You just drop. I told a bitch.
Dropped it because I'm bitter about it.
I heard that and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to continue with this Warzone match like nothing happened.
That's the first one. I have driven 3 hours to like meet this chick because she was like depressed. That was it. She was just sad. She's like, I'm sad. I'm like, Well, I can come see you. She's like, you're 3 hours away. I don't give a shit. So I got in the goddamn car and drove 3 hours to fucking spend the night and woke up and drove back. I was with her for 8 hours at best.
Carl, cover your ears, but did she not give you a kiss at the very least?
I mean, we kissed, but she was depressed, so that's as far as it went.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Not proud of that.
I'm sorry.
Listen, we do crazy things for love. My dad's like, I'm no snitch.
Okay, I can remember. So I remember I really liked the girl, and she wasn't like we had. And like a few weeks later, she was like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna like work out. I'm just not there yet." And the dumbest thing I could do was go to her place, talk to her about it, and try to win her over, which like came off so badly. It was just like, that is a mistake I've done for love. It's like, well, I mean, I thought we'd like. It's like, oh god,
well, we loved it. Like, that's
god,
the shit,
it's so
the cringe moments.
embarrassing how much of a hopeless romantic I am. Oh my god, why did I ask this question? I hate myself now.
I love it.
Like,
it's so
that's the thing.
incredibly
Like, I say
awkwardly
this
great.
and I'm like, I cringe, but I cringe because I'm like, I can't help how much of like sometimes I'm a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
And like how 1980s John Cusack fucking just rom-com I am about things. Man, it does not work out that way in life. And so, by the way, like the advice that I give you on like, or give anyone that's like on being tame and being controlled and never being first or whatever, comes from that. I have done the being first, showing all your cards, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Go on.
It doesn't. Yeah, man. It's funny that these cringe moments are the worst.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I'm conscious enough to know like I'm not changing. Like I'm not gonna not be that person anymore. Right. You're like because I find like that's part of my quality that now when I look back to all of these people where it didn't work, like I genuinely look down. I don't want to say I look down to these people, but like you're missing out. Like I know my value in the fact that like what all I did wasn't reciprocated in a way. Like let me rephrase that. In the ways that like I've ended it, not necessarily in A's that like it ended like they were just like I'm out and I move on. But like if it was a genuine like this person turned into be a shitty person and like now I've wasted all this energy on them, like in particularly this last go round, like I'm not gonna now deprive the next person.
I think that's a common mistake a lot of people do, which was like, my last relationship was a fuck up, and I'm not going to give this a chance because this is going to be a fuck up. Being scared is like the worst thing you can do because you're just going to ruin someone else. It's like perpetuating abuse because you were abused.
You're going to be
a vicious cycle. Now, maybe that's kind of extreme. Like, here's the truth. Like, you will perpetuate that narrative if you're hurt, but if you truly love them, I think you would actually drop that fear. Like if you actually cared about them, you would drop that fear. But like for you, because you're so conscious, whatever, blah, 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 like maybe you just didn't really love them. That's why you're fucking on guard about everything, whatever, fuck it. But don't put that on someone else.
I agree. I think the fear of being hurt is the thing that drives you to not want to be your same person that you were before because you were hurt before. You gotta approach each relationship with an open mind.
Really? Okay, because you seem to always approach me in like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it, but you know what? You've given me such an unfair take. You always say I'm like your exes. I'm not man enough. Okay, so
heard
I lied. Like at one movie. Okay, really? It was Tony Stark. He died for all of us.
Just get over yourself, K-Dot. Get over yourself.
Like, okay? I'm sorry I'm not man enough for you. Wow, like the things you do for love.
Unbelievable. Some people. You don't need her.
You
don't need her.
You don't need her. I never need her.
You don't need her.
You didn't deserve this L word.
K-Dot just got viciously attacked
for no reason. I love you,
K-Dot. But people are so afraid of being hurt again that they recluse, they shut down, they don't want to show the best sides of themselves. And as morbid as this may come off, the reality of the situation is you're fucking always going to be hurt.
Absolutely. Life is painful, BC 40.
The existence is painful. Literally living this earth, you are going to be hurt. Learning that it isn't a permanent pain is the thing that will move you past the hurt that you keep holding on to, and you keep guarding yourself and guarding you opening up. You have to just realize you can't escape it. When you love something, it's going to hurt you. That's what it is. That's life. Your parents have done something to hurt you. Your friends have done something to fucking hurt you. Your loved ones have done something to hurt you, to previously back up the shit. Your dogs and pets have done fucking something to hurt you. Everything you love is going to hurt you. It doesn't now mean you need to kill off the best parts of your life and the best parts of who you are because you're too afraid to open the fuck up and truly experience life without hesitation and guarded, right? Like, that's why I know the next person I'm going to this relationship to, like, I made a lot of fucking stupid mistakes in this last one. There will be adjustments that will be made, but I'm not gonna like hold back because now I'm not being me. Now I'm trying to create this image and the persona of a guarded version of myself where let me make sure this person truly, truly deserves it. Like, no. I'm going to show myself. If you receive what I'm giving and you reciprocate.
Oh, God, put your pants back on.
Who said I'm wearing pants? I'm going to reveal myself fully unclothed to whoever.
Whoever.
To who the fuck ever.
DoorDash. I love you.
I love you. Take me. Take me for who I am. But
Ronald.
What is your name? Ronald? Yeah, I love you, Ronald. Take me. And then leave the food on the kitchen table and get the fuck out. Done with you, Ronald. But no, like it gets to that point of when you realize that as much as you try to run from that hurt, as much as you build a wall around not getting yourself hurt again because you've been hurt once, you now become a person who misses out on opportunities. You now become a person who will unintentionally shit on a good thing because you're so guarded that you're now blind to what could be a really great experience and a great thing in your life. And that's the biggest thing I fear or feared through what I went through, is that I don't want to now turn into a negative person because of it. Everything I did, I don't genuinely have a problem with doing most of it again. Most of what I've done is a part of who I am. There are some extremes that I learned, like I'm not going to do again. Like, fuck moving to College Station. I will never, ever, ever, ever move to fucking College Station. But there are other aspects in that like, no, that's just my makeup. That's who the fuck I am. And I'm not going to change that. And truth be told, like, there's something my dad told me a long time ago, and it wasn't in regards to dating in a relationship, but just came in regards to people. If somebody upsets you or somebody makes you mad, like, don't allow someone to control your emotions. Don't give that to someone. And this goes into in the way the example was meant was, if prime example, right? When we did our race and culture episode, and I talked about the last time that I was called the N-word, right? When I walked into Bo's Barn in Belton, Texas, or Salado, I think it's in Salado. I don't know where it's at now in life. But we walked in, and as soon as I walked in, this guy came out and was like, "Oh, damn, they're just letting niggas in here for no reason now. Like, just any nigga can walk in off the streets," right? I could have responded two ways. I could let him own my emotions, get pissed off, fight him, fuck around and get myself arrested, go to jail. Or I can not give him that ability to control me and just blow it the fuck off and keep it moving. In this situation with this chick, I'm not going to allow her. She's already beaten me once, in the sense that I had that depression. I was down. I was out. I had to eat that. I had to own it. I'm now not going to let that shit continue and now let her not only own the fact of her moving on and having a greater life, but like, or a better life in her own mindset. But I'm now not going to let her change me. Fuck off. You don't get that right. I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to pursue how I do my things. Just because you didn't reciprocate and appreciate it, does it now make me be something else because I'm going to cave in, right? So for me, like it's understanding that and keeping in mind that no person, regardless of the relationship, is going to have that ownership over me. I'm not going to allow you to change me. I like what I am. I like who I was. I showed you the best parts of me. You shit over it. You're not worthy. On to the fucking next. Move forward.
Parts.
Yeah.
Friends with benefits. That was good stuff. You know, I kind of wish, before I ask this last question, kind of wish we talked a little bit more about modern dating. Just kind of the problem with it from both sides. Maybe we'll get into it a little bit later.
Yeah. I do have, once we finish the last question, because this is going to be unorthodox, I have two. Hey, Celia, what's up, girl? I have two like news articles I want to bring up and get your opinion on, but we'll go on.
It's crazy because I can't believe I'm going to get a question asked to me. When do you know it's done? Like, how do you know it's like you talk about a lot of the middle parts of how you felt and the hindsight stuff, but like on this most recent one, like when were you just like, fuck this, fuck all this?
Mm-hmm.
I know this part's gonna hurt, but you know what? Like, I'm torturing myself. So why don't I just rip this fucking Band-Aid off now, feel that yell, and move the fuck on?
I think just like when we mentioned how we defined love or how we knew we were in love, when it was I wake up every morning or I think about it all the time. It's always on my mind. It becomes this intoxication. For me, it's over when that's no longer an intoxicating feeling, but a feeling of anxiety. I now am suffering from anxiety talking to this person or thinking about this person or thinking about the negative. The negative now becomes a consumption. The hurt becomes the consumption. The absence of a positive thought becomes the only thing that consumes you at this point. I regret talking to this person. I don't want to spend time with this person. I'm better not around this person. These things are where it becomes it's done. I don't have this anymore. What am I doing now? I gotta walk the fuck away from this.
When the foundation of respect is constantly being taken away.
Yeah.
The foundation of trust is constantly being taken away. When you're sleeping on a bed of nails, that shouldn't be a relationship.
No.
That's not something you should put on another person, irresponsibly so. That's when I feel like it's just done. Like when we're just not on the same page, and when I like can't even find the reason that we're just doing this because love, we talk about how powerful love is, but like there are other senses and sensibilities that need to come into play here, because you're just cutting off your nose to spite your face, and that shouldn't be the case, right?
Yeah.
This person needs to make you whole. That's kind of when I get that this is over, right? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of red flags, and you know what? Like, at a certain point in time, like that shit tallies, right? Like, you're making an errant choice to be this hurtful and to be this neglectant. This is kind of how I felt, at least in one of my previous relationships, where it was just like, yeah, this sucks. And it's weird because I called it off, but it ended up hurting me a lot. And it just like, it spiraled me.
Yeah. I think either side of who called it off was going to hurt. Because
for some reason, I always feel like, I used to think that if you're the first one that called it off, then you really like got this weird subjective upper hand or whatever the fuck it is, or you don't care, right? And
if that's the case, if it gets to a point like, all right,
Okay,
you're in this
you-
relationship,
yeah.
you call it off, and you like after you call it off, I'm fine. You didn't love that person.
Yeah.
You were just going with emotion. You got swept up, and you didn't know how to get out of it, and you just kind of going with it.
Yeah.
And then when you finally hit the wall and like, fuck this, I'm out. You're out, and there's no emotion involved because you
Done,
never
son.
was in it.
You're done.
Yeah, fucking done. But it's funny that I love The Office, and there was going to be a reference early in this that I was going to make that I just realized that I didn't make, and it just makes no sense to bring up old shit, so I won't go to that. But there was later on in the last season of The Office, for those Office aficionados, there's a statement made between Pam and Jim that, you know, their relationship kind of got rocky, and they were arguing a lot, and they were debating at this point, like, is this relationship gonna last? Like, we fight all the fucking time. And something was said in that I realize is so true and so accurate that like needs to be echoed and portrayed more often. The fighting isn't an issue. The fighting is the evidence that you still give a shit. It's over when you stop fighting. When it's not worth fighting anymore. When you don't have a fight to give. When you don't give a fuck. Where you're not arguing anymore because you just don't care. That's when it's over. But when you're arguing still, passion's involved. You argue with someone you love because I fucking give a shit and I need you to understand that I give a shit. And they give a shit in a different manner and they're trying to get their fucking point across. When you stop and you're no longer fighting anymore, it's ending. You are closer to the end than you were to solving this fucking thing when the argument stopped. And they do shit and you're just like, I don't even give a shit anymore.
I'm not a Jess moment. I love that. I love that.
I love that. That's good.
That.
That's really good. I gotta like save this. If anybody can take a snippet of just that piece, I gotta send that to Jess. Because that's a Jess move. She would like that. Yeah.
I didn't get to tell her that, like, the thing that I caught. I remember telling Yezi, who, by the way, if she's listening, I made up a really great nickname for her. That if she ever becomes a cult leader or popular, all of us will be her Yezwits.
Yezi fan, we got to get Yezi on the fucking show. I gotta convince her to get on at least the 10th episode. For those who are still on episode 10, we're gonna fucking do a fan appreciation. Everybody's gonna fucking get on.
Side note here, we got to 55 followers, and we didn't say this, and I feel terrible. Thank you guys to those who have been watching. It's been a bit of a lighter episode, but honestly, we've never really expected it to always be 20 plus people and all that crazy shit. Honestly, we just appreciate whoever joins us, and this is like an odd like relief to our week, and we just love like hanging out with you guys, and fucking the fact that you guys give us the time is amazing, right? Like that's such a blessing on its own. No, I'm not done complimenting everyone. You shut your mouth. And no, honestly, thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. You go on with your fucking overwhelming opinion.
What I was gonna say was,
by the way, I'm so sick of everyone fucking praising you on your bullshit opinions, and I get nothing.
Because you're not deep. You're as deep as a puddle. What are you talking about?
That's so dope, Nabil. Oh shit!
Because you don't give a shit. You ain't nobody.
Oh, you're the best son I could ever ask for. Oh, Nabil, you're
as complex as an elementary school calculator. All right, you got the plus, minus, division, multiplication, and that's it. You're as deep as a puddle. You're as fulfilling as a sheet of paper. You're nothing, son. Whatever. But what I was gonna say is, I am very much appreciative to everybody who joined, because I think our peak we got to maybe like 14 or somewhere in there. Because this was actually, I didn't tell you to build. This was a test for myself. I didn't send out a single fucking text message about the show. Every week, I would text messages. I
didn't know that.
Every fucking week, every week except for this week. I was like, there were at least 30 fucking text messages that go out like, hey, you should know the routine by now. 8 p.m. Here's a link. I would just send that in a text, copy paste that shit, and send it to every person on my fucking phone. And this is the first week I didn't do it. I was like, I'm just curious to see
I thought it was a good turnout.
It was a great turnout. I'm very happy. I'm very appreciative.
Really enjoyed it. Like honestly, I need to do a better job. Like if I'm gonna like kind of moderate some of this, I need to do a better job of stopping what we're doing and engaging you guys more, because you guys honestly bring up some awesome shit and some funny shit, and it's something I'll work on to do better. I you know, Pops, CD, constantly like engaging with us, Jeremy, even little K-Dot, even though she's like just constantly judgmental towards me, like I'm ending that relationship. It's over. Okay, you stay on your side of the Mississippi, sister. Anyway, whatever. That's a nasty divorce. I'm sorry you guys didn't see this.
It's dirty. It's dirty.
You had I don't know if you were going to finish your point, but you said you had
my
articles.
Point was dumb. Yeah, there's one article. So this is unrelated. So for those who were hanging in there, listen to the relationship series.
Don't roll your eyes at me, K-Dot. I loved you, bro. I loved you.
Nah, cuz that we are done with part 2 of the dating series. Next week will be the part 3 of marrying it all together. We talked about friendship, we talked about dating. Now we can talk about
John Cena. How none of us can see him.
Can't see him. I never saw him. Don't know what he looks like. We're gonna marry all that together and talk about how you balance friendships and relationships, and then a bunch of other shenanigans. It's gonna be great. So, Nabil, here's a question I have for you. All right, this little news article that came out. I want to know how you feel about this. This is a football question. So, my coaches who are in this piece, Rod and Al and Cecil, I'm curious to hear what you think about this also. And y'all probably have heard this story.
Nothing to do with dating, but okay.
Nothing to do at all with dating.
I was like, oh man, I kind of want to talk about modern dating a little bit. And you're like, I got 2 articles for you.
Yep, ain't got shit to do with that. High school football, UCLA commit Justin Martin from Inglewood, California. Inglewood City. Throws 32 touchdown passes in a game.
God damn, you have the worst fucking defense.
13 touchdowns in a game. Do you know what that score of that game was?
13 times 7 plus some running touchdowns. So 1, 2, 100 and I'm going to say 121 to 3.
It was 106-0. I want to know, what do you think about that?
Were they playing that one team that was on ESPN?
No,
that like had a bunch of adults.
No,
that were just reading. Man,
they were just playing a regular team and their shit. 13 touchdowns were thrown. 106-0.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I always say you go until the ref stops it, right? I come from I believe in that MMA thing. Like the fight's not done until it's done. And the truth is, we can talk about that handshake deal between college football coaches and whatever the hell else. But the truth is, man, that's a reflecting moment on the team that lost. You got to take that and like, you got to really self-analyze. Do I blame the team that put up 106 points? Not really. Not
so
really.
let me elaborate a little more.
Okay.
So Justice Martin, the guy who threw 13 touchdowns,
UC Smollett was
106-0. He's a starter.
Okay.
He never came out of the game.
Okay.
You as a coach thought, hey, let's just keep all of our starters in this fucking game. At 104 points.
So, you know,
hold on.
At any point in time.
At 104 points, they went for a 2-point conversion to make it 106.
Why'd they go for 2 points?
Because they're classless as fuck. That's my problem with this. Here's the thing, right? I get it, the concept and the notion of if you are you're playing a team and they're scoring a fuck ton, it's on you opposing team to stop them.
Sure.
However, if I'm hitting 60 fucking points and they haven't scored a single point, let me even back it up. If I got 50 burgers up, and they ain't scored shit. I'm going to play my backups. I'm going to let my backups get in. If my backups are still scoring and my backup second and third stringers get to 106, listen, what do you want from me? What do you want? The fact that you keep your starters in the fucking game until the very end.
His starters?
What's that?
Did he keep his starters?
Well, you're getting your ass kicked. Of course you're keeping your starters in. It's 106. If second string doesn't get in, your fucking starters are failing. But you are getting you as a team are scoring unconsciously, and you don't have a problem as a coach of pulling your fucking starter. Like, this is shit's offensive. I'm shocked the fight didn't.
So I would never do it, right? Like, I just, like, I get it. The moment I'm like in the 50s and it's the second quarter, I'm like, all right, well, we'll try to slow it down, but like, fuck, you're terrible. But with that being said, like,
run the ball.
Well, if it's in the game, right, then it's in the game, right? Not to take like you can't, like, all is fair in this game. Like, it's
106-0.
Okay,
you won at half.
There's no rules to.
There's no rules, but there's
there's
a mutual respect. There has to be a mutual respect.
Clearly, there wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say this is a classless fucking act, because there has to be a level of respect that you won. When you hit 50 points and they scored none, the game is over. There's kids involved. Do you imagine? Exactly. See, there are fucking children playing this game that now have to just eat the fact that they are historically put down as getting 106 points scored on you, and y'all couldn't even kick a fucking field goal.
I think kids are a little more malleable than that.
They are. Kids are fucking violent as fuck. Kids are rude as shit. You know how many kids right now are shitting all over that school because you just got 106 points put on you for no fucking good reason?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not on one kid. It's on all of them, and they can probably, like, that. That's where it's like, well, this dude, whatever. It's on the coach, really, for, like, being so ill prepared.
Wait, you're saying it's on the coach who scored 0 points and ill prepared?
Yeah. You had 0 points scored and you allowed 106 points to happen to you.
Let me clear the air right now. So you don't see any problem with the coach who allowed all of his starters to stay in the game for 4 quarters and run the score up to 106 points. You have no problem with that.
I would say I wouldn't do it, but it's allowed. There's no rule that says, sit your fucking team down, you've just scored 70. There's no rules against it. And, like, there's worse things that could happen.
All right, so let me ask you this question. You're an MMA fighter, or you train.
Yeah.
If you're in, like, an exhibition fight and somebody's in here going for fucking KOs, like, is that fair? There's no rule saying he can't try to knock you the fuck out, but, like, bruh, like, what the fuck?
It's almost like you were at the second fight.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't get knocked out. It was the first fight, and my brother had made it clear to this team, like, hey, you have a bunch of, like, experience versus this dude. Like, we expect you to carry him through this, like, exhibition match. Cool, no problem. Piecing the fuck up for the first round. The second round, boom, head kick, knocked this dude the fuck out. The room goes silent. Now, I don't know. Here's the thing.
It's the same concept.
I wouldn't do it. Nabil himself would not do it. Nabil really wouldn't condone it. But if it happened,
that's the point I want, though. But it shouldn't have happened. Here's the thing. My argument and what I want to hear. Where is the justification? Where can you, as a coach who allowed your team to put 106? Because here's the thing: if I'm the athletic director of this high school, I'm not firing this coach, but I'm bringing him into the office, and I'm like, dude, give me any other fucking reason to let you go, because this does not look good for our program. If I'm trying to build the image of my program up and I want the city to fucking take me serious, I can't do this now knowing that my coach gives little fucks about every other team in this program that you kept all of your starters in for 106-0 victory over team.
But don't you think that same context that you're using without knowing the background of why you did it, the same context that you're using that, hey, you're showing this to your city that you're acting this way, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's showing it to his city that like, hey, we're better than you thought. We're building this team up. We're doing this, X, Y, and Z.
Nope.
Like now,
because here's the difference. How many points I score in a game does not dictate how good my team is. Because you scored 106.
That is.
No. Because here's the reason. I score 106 points. That's one win. If I scored 2 points and they scored no points, that's a win. If I lose and don't make it to the playoffs, what the fuck does it matter that I scored 106 points against a team? Doesn't. Because you don't win your season one game at a time. You win your season when you make it to the fucking playoffs and you win the playoffs and you win state.
I mean, CD, what's the line that's too disrespectful? You're saying 70 points. Some would say 50 points. Like,
no, but 70. But here's the thing. There's a stark fucking difference in 70 points and 106. And you go for a 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter. When you had 104 fucking points.
I mean, honestly, the 2-point conversion is me thinking this dude's a dick.
That's a dick move, bro. Like that's 100% a fucking dick move.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate as best as I can here. It's really difficult. But here's the thing. Again, like the truth is it like you're an asshole for doing that. Like you really are. But if I'm that coach that scored nothing, like yeah, I mean, I'd question myself, like, God, I did a fucking terrible job.
He didn't.
I allowed somebody to put 100 on
his
me.
response was exactly how his response should be. Okay. When they interviewed him after the game, he's like, it was a very classless act from this other opposing coach, which is 100% it. It's
sure, 100% it was a classless act from that opposing coach, but I need to do a better job. That, like, don't blame the coach for putting 100 points on you.
Yes. No, 100%. I'm 100%
blame yourself.
Nope. I'm 100% blaming the other coach for putting 100 points on me because I'm blaming myself. I'm blaming myself for losing the game. I lost the game. I lost the game at 30 points.
You get in a ring or in a cage with me, and I absolutely blast you the fuck off of this planet and obliterate you. That is your. And you tell me, hey, you beat my ass way too much.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Here's
did you step in this ring?
Here's how I'm going to relate this. Here's how I'm going to relate this because you're kind of on track, but you're a little off.
Okay.
So let's say. So how long is the longest like MMA fight? What, 5 rounds? 3 rounds?
5.
5 rounds. Okay. To your story, I get in the ring. You beat my ass the first round. You KO me. I fucking landed 2 punches. Yeah, that's on me. I got to learn this shit. If from the first round, you could have knocked me the fuck out, you beat me the fuck up, I didn't land a fucking single punch, and now you decided because you're so talented, you drugged this thing out for 5 fucking rounds and got to the point to where you had clean shots to knock me the fuck out because I'm dazed to sit here and head out, and you decide to step back and put your hands up. You're like, nah, I'm going to make this thing go the distance. That's a fucking dick move. That's what 106-0 is. That's a dick move. That's not show. This is the equivalent of a hunter shooting a deer and he's still alive, and you're not going to do your job as a hunter to put him out of his misery. You're going to let him slow bleed and die.
I concede. You're right. Here's the thing. That's actually happened. That's actually happened. A very famous fight with CM Punk, the wrestler, who wanted to do MMA. In his second fight, fought a guy for 3 rounds. The dude could have ended it literally at any point in time. Kept dragging it out just to taunt him. Got cut afterwards because of that.
Yeah.
There was no reason for him to keep it going. There was none of that. You're right. By the way, can I just throw this out there? Just total side note. Shiba Inu today was like having a hard day, right?
Yeah.
Coinbase was like kind of fucking up. It glitched. It dropped down to 4. And then it's kind of been fighting. It was at 5 and teetering there. It just broke to 6 again. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in it? Do you believe in the coin itself? Because I have no reason to not believe in it. Like as far as like its applicability. I believe they're trying to make it sustainable. And to me, that's why I'm hanging in. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna stay.
I'm skeptical because this is the first coin that I'm like truly investing in. So there's a part of me that believes that I know I see how it could get there, but at the same time, like.
So if you can see how it can get there, are you going to panic sell?
Probably.
Oh, really? So if it like dips again, you're going to be like, oh, fuck, I'm out.
No, like I will panic sell in the best way. Like,
oh, like it's going up. It's going up.
Yeah, like
going
my concern now is if we lose a 0 on Shiba, like I might sell if we lose a 0.
Oh,
because
I'd buy more.
I'd sell something, like, because I am, I don't know, man. Like I'm so concerned. I don't know.
I'd buy more. If we lose a 0, you're giving me a chance to get another 100 million coins. I think the issue.
Like, yeah.
I think the issue now that what I keep looking at is the circulation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it got to the trillions, but they're trying to burn as much as they can, which I appreciate. Again, like there's just a lot of $60 a man. Let's ride it to $1. My man, CD gets it. My guy,
because that's the reality of it. Because and I'll preface to say as well, if I sell any of my Shiba, I will never sell all of it. I will sell parts of it. I will always keep something in that shit just in case. Just in case it gets up.
Which is great. Like, because if it gets to a cent, and I have over 100, if I sell to allow myself to have a couple thousand because I want to get a house or whatever, cool, I can do that. I'll still have plenty left to be a millionaire.
Yeah,
I believe in it.
I believe in it.
Ability.
My last little story.
Yes, I have to.
Curious.
Badly.
Well, we'll wrap it up after this.
Okay.
Have you heard of all of the University of Texas Longhorn drama that has taken place since Halloween to today?
So, are we talking about like the football team or just in general?
The football team, coaching staff, players, shenanigans, non-game related.
So, personally,
a lot of monkey business.
I stopped paying attention when we were in Chicago, and I was like, you know what,
that's fair. So,
like the Cowboys are winning, the Lakers are doing pretty well, right? Like that stuff has my interest. Which, by the way, amazing win for the Cowboys Sunday night. Go on. I don't know, but let me hear it.
So the special teams coach wife is a very,
she hot?
Yes, actually,
okay.
She is. She's very much a different thinker, is the best way I can word that.
Oh,
she has different ways of doing things in life. Some of that stems from the fact that she was actually a professional. And when I say this professionally, I don't mean like in the sense that you're going to think when you first hear her profession, but you are going to think she is professional as in she's an upper echelon of this career path, and like did competitions and shit, but she was a stripper.
Okay.
And worldly, very
worldly lady.
Very worldly lady.
I love you.
But she's like legit, like she's done competitions and she like was really good at pole dancing and shit. Like she's hella talented.
Apparently you can make a lot of money doing that. Actually, like
you actually really fucking can. You can make more money than we make in sales, which is nuts.
Really?
Oh yes, high end, like Vegas strippers are bringing in like 200,000 a year on a min, like on a min.
That's insane. Minimum. Work your craft, girl. Work your craft.
Crushing it. So anyway, over the Halloween break, or Halloween itself, they live in a very rich neighborhood because most Texas coaches do. And
not sure where this is going, and I'm already like, holy shit.
It has, first off, it has nothing to do with her being a stripper.
Okay.
One of their neighborhood kids broke into their backyard and went into their house and got himself bitten by her pet monkey.
What? Why did you have a monkey?
It's a support animal.
That's not a that's a thing. You can have a support
100%. If
you can train a monkey to not rip your fucking eyelids off.
Well, you can't, because this monkey bit this fucking child so aggressively that they had to pry the fucking monkey's jaws apart to get this monkey to release from this child.
First off, how old is this child?
I don't know. I don't know the age, because he's a minor. They won't release that information.
Yeah. So I feel like if you're old enough to jump in someone's backyard and break in their fucking house, I mean, animals don't know better. You're an intruder. Your dumbass should have known. And with that being said, I would have to really be concerned with a fucking pet monkey.
I love the headline. So what I just posted in this from Fox Sports:
Coach
monkey
stripper girlfriend.
belong.
That's so fucked up.
Monkey belongs to Texas special team coach's stripper girlfriend bites a child on Halloween.
And that's the most Texas fucking headline. Now, what we have here is the case of the Super Devil. Now, what the Super Devil will do, some ways to notice, he rides a Harley. He will try to get you to commit adultery, and he walks around with a jar of marmalade. You should be supremely conscious of the Super Devil. Now, like, that's the most Texas, but of course it's Fox fucking News. Monkey belonging to Texas special teams coach stripper girlfriend bites child on Halloween. Oh my God. That's offensive on so many levels. But the truth is, it's like, why do you have a fucking monkey? And then
All I'm saying,
like, I feel like that's genuinely dangerous to have a monkey. Just honestly, like, I
don't know of many stories where the monkey ownership ends well.
Because you can get like a therapy dog, and like the difference between dogs is, yeah, you always have a chance for them to like get rabid or whatever because it's an animal.
Yeah.
But the truth is, they're genetically built on companionship and herd mentality, and so they realize that you're this matriarch figure. They're gonna follow you. Versus a monkey, like a monkey is the strongest child that you could imagine.
Yep. And they're gonna test your leadership because that's what monkeys do. You're the king of all this shit. You will be consistently tested for kingdom. Like they want the crown, so you're gonna get tested.
I remember Brandon telling me about this crazy like monkey war that happened in Africa, where like a line of like a genetic line of monkeys got like obliterated because a monkey coming from the south side of Africa migrating north fucking wiped them off the planet. To which, by the way, when monkeys kill each other, it is ravenous,
it's gruesome,
horrifying.
It's gruesome, bro.
It's disturbing as shit.
I remember watching a video on Discovery Channel of like these chimpanzees that like fucked up this other chimpanzee who was not part of their fucking group and like peeled his fucking face off his skull. And he showed all that shit. I'm like, this is the dopest shit I've ever seen.
This is the dopest shit ever.
Bro, they literally.
How terrifying was that to watch, by the way?
Oh, it was gruesome. It was much like I was blown away that it was on Discovery Channel, and they're like,
so like they just grabbed this thing and just started.
They grabbed his lips, like they literally grabbed his lips and start pulling off. And then here's another thing: how monkeys devour other monkeys. They will pull off your privates. So that was another piece that they like went down and bit off his Johnson and fucking ripped the shit off. They grabbed his lip, fucking pulled. Another one grabbed his lip, pulled.
Was he dead already or no?
He was dead once he started ripping his face off. He was alive when they started it. He
makes my stomach turn and like the meaning, like it's just like
and people have fucking pet monkeys, which is like unbeknownst to me.
Which I think for the most part you do have to kind of drug them
a little bit
to keep them docile.
A little bit. Last story, and then I'll let you go, Pete. Today, Potty. University of Texas, as you know, is currently going through a new coach. We lost some players. We have some injuries. Jordan Whittington's injured. He's out for probably the season, I think. That's not shocking to anybody who's been following Texas football because that kid hasn't finished the whole year. We lost another wide receiver, today.
It's not Xavier, is it?
Nope. We lost Joshua Moore, who was our number 2 since Jordan Whittington left. And here's how we lost him today. Now, it wasn't injury.
Oh.
Was not injury. Apparently, today at practice, we had a verbal altercation between Joshua Moore and Steve Sarkisian.
Okay.
Where very strong verbal language was used within it, and it resulted in Joshua Moore's locker being cleaned out.
Wow.
His status with the team is unknown.
So here's the thing. There's one person I actually wouldn't question at a certain position. If I'm a wide receiver or a quarterback, I'm not questioning Sark.
No.
Because if anybody knows anything, has proven himself at that position, it's kind of him. And you know this because of the number of stars he's pushed into the NFL. One of them who bullshit got arrested for DWI.
Allegedly.
What a fucking sad story that is too, by the way. Henry Ruggs.
He's a fucking idiot. Randy Ruggs is a goddamn idiot.
And you know, like you have all these things at your leisure. Like someone can drive you Uber, whatever, and you're drunk at 3 a.m. driving 150 miles an hour, crashed into the back of a Toyota and killed a girl.
And your girlfriend's in the passenger seat, by the way, because the girlfriend's also in the hospital.
Was it the girlfriend that died?
No. The girlfriend's still in the hospital though. He's fine. He's out, and of course he's in jail now. But like the girlfriend, I think, still in the hospital dealing with her shit, and the other person's dead.
And so it's just like, man, like
you're rich enough to buy a driver. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, that's okay. So I'm sorry. Joshua Moore.
Yeah.
Man, listen, so, we talk about hierarchies and like as a coach, I would encourage any player to speak his mind on what he thinks is or isn't going to work. There's a line of disrespect that I'm sure was crossed because Sark doesn't seem like the kind of person that's like not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
Especially kind of maybe knowing that it comes from Nick Saban's coaching tree and all that stuff. The other part is UT has a really bad culture problem from what's his fuck face before. And none of these players know how to win. And to try to coach bad habits out of players who don't know how to win is really difficult. And on the road to victory, on the road to winning, I think you run into these scenarios.
Yeah.
You got to get everybody to clean their fucking locker room out. We're starting new. We're starting fresh. Fuck that. I think it's part of the territory. It sucks that this happened with Josh Moore because Josh Moore is pretty good.
Yeah. So here's the thing that probably, and no one, they have not leaked like what the argument was about. But here for anyone who did not watch the game this weekend, Joshua Moore is the reason we lost against Baylor.
I didn't even watch that game.
So, and their speculation is their argument broke out today over what I've heard rumored was he dropped the pass also in practice, Stark corrected him on it, and then also reminded him of his fuck ups in the Baylor game, and Josh Moore just was not having it. For those who don't know, Joshua Moore scored I think he scored a touchdown. I don't think he scored, actually, I lie. I don't think he scored a touchdown, but he definitely caught at least one pass. Joshua Moore then had one bounce off of his hands into an interception. Joshua Moore also dropped a touchdown pass. And then Joshua Moore fumbled and did not recover the touchdown either. Joshua Moore was only thrown 4 times. Wow. 3 of your 4 passes were turnovers. That ain't no one's fault but you, bruh.
Yeah.
So,
can you watch Coach 30 on TikTok?
So like in that regard, like I get the frustration because I think this team is in a very volatile situation right now.
As a player, you got to handle that criticism.
Like you have to be able to handle the criticism. You have to understand. You have to respect authority to a degree. Like there's a level of disrespect that can come from a coaching staff that I think, like a player, you should be able to cross when it gets there. But however, you got to understand your own faults. And understand like the severity of like, listen, regardless of whatever the fuck he could have said, reality of it is you lost this game against Baylor.
Yeah, and I would actually love CD's take on this, but I assume the line of dialogue that should happen, you're getting your coach is riding you too hard. You should be able to talk to your coaches and let them know, hey, like there's nobody that's beating themselves up more than me right now, and you just need to chill out because this is really, really grinding on me, right? Like it's just beating me up more than it's helping. And conversely, your coach, you as a coach need to understand that, right? Like there is a such thing as pushing too hard. There really is. And like you want to win and you want to make sure they succeed and you want to make sure they're in the best light possible. And so like you have to, there's that fine line where you're really like edging in their mistakes and burning that into them. But there's also like, just like how you're whatever, your closest person is riding you too hard, like you got to be able to just stop and let the situation breathe.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little bit of a learning lesson for Sark in that, okay, you got to ease up a little bit, but at the same time, you are the coach, you are the leader, and your players need to respect you as such.
Yeah.
And at a time away from this, like you need to talk to your coach and with a cooler head.
Yeah. My fear through this whole bit is the
yes, and that's the psychology of football, trying to push them to the edge, but not too far. Yeah, I agree with you. That's where Stony Point was terrible. Go
on. My fear is of a lack of respect that might come from this.
Sure. From the players to Sark, or Sark to the players?
Players to start. Because when we think about like Stark coming in, Stark is this offensive guru. Stark is this like this the offensive this mastermind, right?
Wizard, yeah.
Wizard. When you look at the product that's on the field, there's a lot of issues that you can clearly see from a player standpoint. Like the talent's not there. I literally listened today when they talked about UT football, and they talked about the recruiting classes or the draft classes the recruiting classes, sorry, for the past few years. And they touched on the 2019 class, and the only player on the 2019 class that is worth a fuck is Jordan Whittington, who cannot stay healthy. There's 20-something people in that class. I think it's 26 total people from that class that's on that team. They're all a bust. All of them. Not a single person is worth a shit. So where you really are looking to find your dogs to fight it out is truly in your 2020 class, which is Bijan Robinson.
God damn, I love
I'm sorry. There's one other person in that 19 class that's worth a shit. Roshan Johnson.
Roshan, I love
Roshan, right? So you don't have a lot of talent on this team, which is very evident at this point, which is why nothing's working. The defense can't get their head out of their ass. The offense is struggling to hold on. But then what doesn't help is, although Stark, yes, is this offensive guru, there's a lot of fucking stupid offensive calls and playing that's just not happening. Like the evidence of Bijan Robinson not being used in the pass game now versus the beginning of the season, he's getting less receptions than he did when we started the season, and now we're losing these games. Why are you not putting him in? There's evidence that this man is a clear, great fucking route runner that does not get passes to him. He doesn't get utilized in the pass game. He's just not there. There's a lot of aspects of shit that gets called in the first half that gets shut down in the second half that Stark can't make adjustments to. So there's clearly
adjustments have been super poor. You got what's weird is when we're looking at a game and we're like, why are you not doing the Tech game, right? Is it Tech game? Am I thinking of Tech when we were in Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How come in the fourth quarter he never once just did a simple halfback screen? Tight end screen.
Fuck if I know. It's just
that in this rush was coming after you, and they knew you were passing the ball 10-yard slants, 10-yard posts, like, or 15-yard posts. Like, they knew where you were going. You were streaking, and you were only playing up and down the field. I don't know.
It's a lot there. I mean, we could spend all night talking about the shortcomings of the Texas Longhorn football program. I just really
about the upcomings of the Dallas Cowboys
and them Saints, baby. Fuck Tom Brady.
Okay.
Who that?
Okay.
Who that?
So do you think there's any sustainability to Philip Rivers or Drew Brees coming back?
No. Well, Philip Rivers, I think would. I don't think the Saints are going to go pick him up. Drew Brees is not going to come back.
Why not?
Because here's the problem, right? Like, and this is the reality of the Saints' offensive scheme, which is why, like, Saints' offense is a very complex offense that you need to understand your checkdowns. You need to understand your audibles from it. And there's a lot of different fucking things that you can shake up from that to bring in Phillip Rivers to try to now learn this entire playbook, we now have to become very vanilla with our offense. Trevor Siemian has been the backup. It's been in this house.
Better than a backup, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. Like, I think Trevor Siemian is really good and just needs someone to believe in him to, like, do some shit. He was
pretty good in Denver when they had a good defense. But
great.
Like,
yeah, he was a fucking stud in there. And what do we have right now with the Saints? We have a really good fucking defense.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Teddy Bridgewater. Like, they're of the same kilt as far as the style of quarterback they are. They're conservative. They're playing it close to the vest.
Yeah.
They're not going to take the chances that you wouldn't want your backup to take.
Yep.
Just play the game smart. That's it. That's what I appreciate about a good backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I just think Trevor Siemian is that, but proven also.
I agree. So it will not make our team better bringing in an outside quarterback, which is why you didn't see us make a trade for one, which is why
you're too deep into it to make a trade.
Deep. The only quarterback it would have made sense for us to go get is Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah. That would have been the only one, but Denver's not giving up Teddy Bridgewater. They're not. They were going to ride that fucking train out. They really should
and just tank the season, honestly. But that's not Denver's MO.
No, not at all, because they still believe that they got a shot, right? And I don't think they truly believe in Drew Lock, which nor should they, because I think Drew Lock had enough of an opportunity and enough of a runway to give you a glimpse of something, and he gave you a glimpse of being a career backup.
So we're talking about two teams, in my opinion, right? Early candidates, in my opinion, that are going to trade up in this draft to try to get a quarterback.
Okay.
And they're both going to pick somewhere in the mid to high teens, early 20s. Saints more likely than Denver. I think they're going to try to jump up to make a play at a quarterback. I think the Saints are definitely scarred by the Deshaun Watson and what's his name in Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, losing out on them when they had a chance. And Denver just is, I think, eager to get things going again.
Here's the thing. I can't see the Saints going after a quarterback.
Listen, if they are going to trade up to get Marcus Davenport, they will trade up to get a quarterback. You have
not been paying attention to the Saints.
Okay.
Saints, here's the thing. The Saints will trade up for a defensive player or a receiver. They believe 100% in Jameis Winston. They have no doubts in Jameis Winston. And here's the thing. After watching Jameis play, Jameis is a better quarterback with us now than he was with Tampa.
I agree to a point.
You're agreeing from a fan standpoint. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. You're agreeing from a non-Saint standpoint.
I mean, from the outside looking in.
Yeah, because you think of old Jameis.
It's hard not to see that, though, right?
You got to watch this Jameis. You got to go back and watch the highlights of this.
I think I have. I've watched a lot, and I just don't like. Okay, I think Jameis is a better quarterback than what he was in Tampa. Okay, which has you in a position that you're 4-2.
Yep, 5-2.
5-2. It's been still kind of rough.
But it's not his fault. It's not his fault. And if you watch the games, it's not quarterback play.
Not on Blake.
It's not on him. It's not on him. It's not Blake. It's not his fault.
Thank you, Doc Rivers. So what I'm saying is, in my opinion, when you look at the quarterback position, I think you want a guy that is like going to really mask a lot of those fuck ups. Okay, you don't have a fucking wide receiver to give to help him out, or a tight end, and he just got a second running back when he got hurt.
So that's where I look at, like, if Michael Thomas comes back, if we draft a wide receiver, or we go draft a tight end.
Mocked to the two Ohio
We
State.
are mocked for 8 years of drafting a fucking wide receiver in the first round, right? If we actually go get some weapons for Jameis Winston, the problem of the Saints football team we have not lost games because Jameis Winston has blown them. We lost games because our offensive line was not able to block, and Jameis Winston had to run for his fucking life. But in games when our offensive line has gotten their shit together, which is this last 3-game winning streak we've been on, Jameis Winston's playing dynamite.
You're right.
He's playing exactly what the fuck we need him
if
to
he
play
was
at.
able to continue, I mean, he's 14-3 right now, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions,
That's fucking great.
1,170 yards. I mean, that's a little bit less than ideal, just a little bit.
I mean, and agree.
But okay, I would be in the position of saying this. I don't know. Yeah, I would look at weapons if you want to move forward with Jameis, right?
Because you also think about the financial piece of this, right? We only have like $12 million in cap right now.
Yeah, no, the draft is crucial. Yeah,
draft is crucial.
Might not be a good idea. Especially last year, you guys only had 4 picks. That's not right. Now, you guys are, I don't know, they're foundational pieces to be a decent team, but none of those picks are stars yet. I would say you got to get a healthy O-line, a good tight end, someone with some fucking hands. And I do actually believe this year, if you're sticking with Jameis, this year, you got to get a wide receiver.
We need to. If anything is proven, like Marcus Callaway can be a really great 3. Traquan Smith needs to fucking go.
I would keep him on special teams if you got to keep
I would keep Traquan to make him a 4.
Here's the thing. You can make a case for keeping him simply for continuity, right? Mm-hmm. As a 4th receiver, that guy could be really crucial because he's been there for a couple of years.
He'd be clutch. Fucking clutch.
You give him any more responsibility than that, that's where it gets bad.
That's where it's at. And then we still have Harrison.
Would you trade Michael Thomas? If somebody was like, here's a 2nd-round pick. You're going to go draft Chris Olaf out of
not for a 2nd-round pick. We're getting a 1st round. Because here's the thing. I would rather keep him. But if you're going to give me a 1st round,
there are teams like the Rams out there that would do
it in a heartbeat.
They would do it in a heartbeat. We want to win a Super Bowl. I mean, they just gave a 2nd and 3rd round pick for Von fucking Miller.
I mean, here's the thing. Think about if I'm the Bills, I'd entertain it. The Bills is the leading team right now in the AFC.
You have a Michael Thomas, Stephon Diggs, and there's another wide receiver out there.
They have Cole Beasley, I think, still. No, Cole Beasley retired.
No, he's there.
He's still there. And they got another fuck. I can't remember who the other guy is, but like teams would give a 1st round for him. And I'm almost positive somebody called the Saints for Michael Thomas just to see. But the Saints won't give up Michael Thomas. And the reason why the Saints won't give up Michael Thomas is we just paid this motherfucker.
Yeah, dead cap.
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt to lose Michael Thomas. Same with Alvin Kamara, but Alvin Kamara is the fucking team, so we ain't gonna.
Side note: I wanted Dallas to maybe make a trade at the deadline, but at the same time, I'm also really happy we did.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah. What a bust. I mean, he's a bust in the sense that like he has a job, right? But he's a bust in the sense that he's not the number 2.
He is exactly what I expect from a Clemson player of that time frame.
Yeah.
Because this was the hype train Clemson.
Yeah.
This was the every year, this is Clemson's year. We got all the fucking players. We got CJ Spiller as running back. We fucking got
one player from that era that ever made anything out of himself is that's D-Hop.
D-Hop didn't go to Clemson.
Where's D-Hop from?
D-Hop went to fucking some weird college.
He came from Clemson.
Nope. DeAndre Hopkins College. He did not go to Clemson at all. DeAndre Hopkins went to Clemson. What the fuck who am I thinking of? I'm getting DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Colston mixed up. All weirdly people getting mixed up.
With Michael Irvin.
Michael fucking Irvin, dude. That's nuts. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. D-Hop is the only one who came out of that. Please don't question my shit. Player. I'm always going to question your play. Fuck off. You ain't shit.
You're a dumbass.
You're nobody.
So of that ilk, there's Mike Williams also out there who
nope, Michael Williams not go to Clemson. Mike Williams
who was drafted by the Chargers, and he should have been like that 1-2 punch with Keenan Allen, who always gets all the hype, which he's always heard every year. But he should have been the 1-2 punch the same way Julio and Roddy White were, and they never turned out to be that.
No, not at all.
Austin Eckler is the best thing out of that era, which is insane.
I agree. Man, let's you know what? We're gonna literally guys and gals, we're gonna have an entire episode around football and
Well, I've been wanting to. You don't
sports.
want to.
I do want to. It's on the fucking docket. What are you talking about? It's just not there yet. We got a
How come when we
fucking
get to the
lineup.
Cowboys, you want to talk about something? You want to just stop this?
Yeah, fuck Cowboys. Because we're almost at 3 hours of this thing. We just hit a 3-hour mark. This is the longest episode.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, let me like honestly, objectively speaking. Okay, they're sitting at 6-1 right now.
Who?
The Cowboys.
Yep.
Do you believe this year, from what you've watched, versus all the other years, they're actually dangerous enough to potentially do it, to potentially make it to the Super Bowl? And win?
Yeah. Dallas is a threat. Dallas is a threat because you have everybody healthy, and well, let me you have Dak. Dak needs to be healthy going into the playoffs. Dak is still getting nagging injuries. That's going to be your Achilles heel because y'all. The same thing has been true consistently with Dallas. Y'all do as Dak do. If Dak is out, that's a big piece that's missing.
Are you giving Mike McCarthy credit? I mean, you never were a Mike McCarthy naysayer.
Exactly. No, I was never.
But a lot of Cowboy fans were, and a lot of Packer fans are. Because
here's the thing. I knew what Mike McCarthy is. Mike McCarthy is not a coach that he himself is changing a game. He is not a Bill Belichick, a Sean Payton, he's
the tier
Pete
right
Carroll,
below.
right? He's not the guy who is so dominant on one side of the ball that he's creating the image of the team, right? He is as good as his coordinators are. And Mike McCarthy is...
And he can get some good coordinators.
He can get some good coordinators. He is comfortable enough to relinquish control of what he know he's not good at.
Yeah.
And manage his coordinators. That's where he's strong at. And y'all got a really great coordinator in fucking what is his fucking name? I got a clue. I got a clue.
Kellen Moore, and also from Dan Quinn.
Yeah, Dan Quinn. Like, those guys are fucking so great that, like, he's smart enough to let those guys do their fucking job, and it's working. Like,
so to my last point, CD, I will say this. I'm asking Juan this question because I myself will not put my heart in that basket. I've been hurt so many times, and I've just said, I think we can do it. This year might be the first year that I think we can do it, but I'm not emotionally like as there. I'll see it when it happens.
This is, I think that's the best way to go. And I just posted this YouTube video for anybody who's curious of the reference we make when we talk about Kellen Moore. There's a South Park fucking clip of just these two very awkward individuals who are detectives.
The Hurley Boys? No, not
Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys. They have a raging clue. And if you look at this and then you Google fucking Kellen Moore's face, this is 100%
identical because he can't close his mouth.
Can't close his mouth.
Physically can't.
But so what I'll say is this. I think Dallas is a serious competitor. The NFC is a
dangerous place.
That fucking division.
Shit, everyone's 5-1, 6-1.
Everyone. And I think if history says anything, I don't think Dallas wins the Super Bowl this year. I think they get really fucking close, but Dallas is so young that it could be next year. Like they need what Dallas needs now is to break that first round curse.
Yeah.
We need to get past the first round. You need to get to a second round. You need to game right before the Super Bowl. And that's when, like, if you take that loss, that's fine. That's the shit you build off going into next year because we were right there. Got a little taste.
I think the offense is mature enough to keep fighting. The defense is what needs the extra year.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a Green Bay and possibly, I just don't believe in Matt Stafford, but the Rams, I guess.
Bro, you got to get off that high horse. Matt Stafford's the fucking truth. You need to just sit down right now. When we get off this bitch, YouTube Matt Stafford's Rams highlights.
No,
the guy's fucking gangster, bro.
I don't think he ever wasn't a gangster. I think he was the reason the Lions were competitive.
Yeah, but he played for the Lions, so he just had nothing.
He had some pieces. Real talk, he had
pieces. Calvin Johnson. After Calvin Johnson, who did they have? I'll wait.
Kevin Johnson. I got to pee so badly. I'm dying right now.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. It's 3 hours, guys. Guys, listen, this has been fucking a blast. I thank all of you guys for joining and sticking with us in this entire segued football talk that turned into this. We are going to do an entire episode on sports because this is huge. And Cecil, we're going to want your entire coaching staff to come on because I'm going to want you and Rod to join us when we talk football.
Please.
So I will shoot you a text on the dates for that because I want your expertise because y'all do this shit for a living. We just watch it as fans.
Did I send you a thing that I just want to throw out there that I want to do a video game episode?
You did. That's going to be on there as also.
Okay.
Next week we'll wrap this series up. Excited to see you guys to join us here again. 10th episode. We are currently on episode 6. Next week is 7. Count it down. When we hit the 10. It's fan appreciation. It's going to be a fucking blast. We also in 2 weeks are going to have to do our restaurant review. We will reveal on next episode what our restaurants are. It's going to be a fucking blast. And we also have a movie review where I have to watch 12 Years a Slave. Nabil has to watch what fucking movie did I give you again? Sandlot. And then we'll vibe out to that shit, guys. Nabil, any last things you want to leave the people with?
I have to pee.
Nabil has
thank
to
you guys so much for being here. I actually, you know what? I'm peeing myself. Go on.
He's
Juan.
peeing right now. It's great. So as I end every episode, and I will end this one the same way, ladies and gentlemen, people that you encounter in your life, most of them aren't going to be fucking worth your time. Some people, on the other hand, will be worth your time. And everybody, literally everybody, the homeless guy, the guy you fucking hate at work, everybody is worth trying to figure that out.
Nabil.
Until we meet again, boys and girls, one love. Your boy, Wani T, is out of here. Peace.